Futures pointing to a slightly higher open coming up this morning, coming off a bit of a muted session yesterday. We had both the S&P and the Dow back in negative territory, but the NASDAQ did eke out, if you remember, a very, very slight gain. All three U.S. indexes still trading relatively close to all-time highs. We had the initial jobless claims for last week just out there. 268,000 it looks like versus 260 expected, so a little bit higher than expected there for initial jobless claims. We'll see how the overall market reacts. Earnings remain in focus today. NVIDIA, the big mover here in the pre-market, sharply higher after a pretty impressive, to say the least, quarter for NVIDIA. Cisco, on the other hand, to the downside, moving sharply lower following their report. We'll talk a little bit about the EV space, obviously. The sell-off continuing in early trading here for some of these latest, hottest movers. Rivian, Lucid, also the one from yesterday, SEV, back to the downside a little bit. We'll talk about those coming up. Chinese e-commerce firms, both Alibaba and JD.com, very active here in the pre-market as well. Heading in opposite directions. We'll tell you which one's higher coming up here. It's Thursday, November 18th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go, still in positive territory for most of the stocks anyways, 0.5% there for the NASDAQ. You can see leading the way, the Dow basically flat, 0.25% for the S&P back in positive territory, which is good to see. Not much of a reaction there for U.S. indexes coming off that jobless claims number. Bottom end of the board, remember on Tuesday we had that big sell-off for cryptocurrencies, 2% for both Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point. We'll see how that plays out the rest of the day. Good morning, guys. We made it to Thursday. Going to be a busy day here. Lots of names moving around in the pre-market. NVIDIA earnings, the big one we'll talk about here, obviously going to affect all of the chip makers today, and hard to get away from some of these EV names as well, active again as well early this morning.
Absolutely, and if we can't have a good day today off the NVIDIA earnings, then you know what? I mean, well, I speak about the NASDAQ. Welcome everybody. Then I'd be a little bit surprised. Although Cisco, we'll get into that one certainly, and the reason why specifically they were going to be under pressure. But that SEV, I know you kind of said coming back a little bit here. It is up 15 or 16% again, but there was a deep sell-off from $50 this morning. It got all the way back in, actually below the $40 mark to 39, and since recovered to 44. So there's already a ton of movement in this name alone. So it's only day 2 for this, and it's the lesson learned in 2021 is you don't sleep on even the smaller IPOs. This is something we used to talk about all the time where, yeah, we're not that interested unless it's of a certain size. Well, sometimes you can throw it out the window if the momentum is behind a sector, and you can believe in the practicality of that all solar powered vehicle, but or not, the momentum is pretty clear in this particular case, and like we said, a lot to watch here. Macy's literally right now maybe testing that 35 level as it's right back at pre-market highs, up 12% itself. Tons of movers here, Sean.
Yeah, I know lots of movers. Clover downsize or upsize the offering here today, so you're down another 10% on Clover. I'm gonna just average in here. I mean, my price is 8 something or 750, whatever it is, down to 575. This is just bad execution. Another Chamath pull the rug on you play here with Clover. They have actual revenues and everything like that, but Clover just continues to get absolutely murdered here. Down to 575. I think that's the price of the offering that they priced it in on. Tilray down. Like some of these high flyers that have just been cruising are back down, right? We've been talking about the marijuana space for a while, and that's why I didn't want to buy any of this, and I haven't been recommending buys in this space. Any kind of, this is still Clover, come on, let's update. Any kind of bump up on these names just seems to get faded every single time. Like, here you go, you get some nice talk with the the bill, the legislation, so on and so forth. And then, you get up to 14 and you think, okay, we're rocking and rolling. And then now you're going to be right back down to 12 and then soon 11 and then probably soon 10 again. So yeah, bad. But yeah, look, NVIDIA's been an absolute monster. We've been buying these. I told Lucas earlier today that the average price is that I have on this is 68, of course, split adjusted and everything, as we were up here to 850, now back down to 316. NVIDIA's going to take out all-time highs of 323, I would say, today at some point. I'm trying to buy 312s right now on NVIDIA. We did have some dark pool wicks down here in the pre-market down to that level, but on I guess it doesn't look so great on a 20-minute chart because we weren't really up here. But 312 also goes back to the 9th or so where we bounced around, and the bottom on that day here was 310. So that's why I like a 312 with it holding 310. So I don't think the bottom could be 312, but there could be some support down here between 310 and 312. So right now you're at 315, well, 316.50. I'm a buyer of NVIDIA. I want to upsize my holding on this. I just looked, it's only 1.8% of my portfolio. So I want to get more NVIDIA here as it's starting to rock and roll. So yeah, great day for this chip maker. And then another, I guess I have more AMD than I do NVIDIA, so I'm already, and then the SMH, so I'm already very long the sector, but it's going to continue to work.
So and I was reading this and someone pointed it out and I checked in and was surprised to know this, but it's probably changed by now because valuation would change after these earnings, but AMD and NVIDIA historically have been relatively similar in terms of price to earnings, and now NVIDIA is like 50% more expensive. Yeah. I actually, in some ways, that makes me say, because I haven't touched either one of those things in a long time, it almost makes me say, why not even be adding some AMD? I didn't realize that divergence had gotten so big and potentially bigger well, who knows? We have to see the readjustment here. Potentially bigger if NVIDIA keeps breaking out.
Yeah, we'll get into this, obviously dig into the report a little bit more here coming up, but the whole group, the whole chipmaker group, pretty much in positive territory early on here. It's worth noting, it looks like Macy's, guys, the call underway right now. So if you're watching Macy's, the call just started there at 8:30, so heads up on that. Another big gainer here in the pre-market. Before we go any further, let's get over and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. It's going to be an interesting, exciting day. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's get it started, guys. Lots to talk about here as we head towards the open for Thursday. We'll jump right into this headline, anyways, on NVIDIA, as we were just discussing there. Yeah, forecasts, upbeat revenue. And they actually, which I found pretty impressive, just openly in the report talked about metaverse, guys, and the possibility for future revenue because of metaverse and what that's going to bring to companies like NVIDIA. So right out of the gate, we're getting this instant bump on the metaverse talk.
Yeah, I think ultimately everyone's going to take leverage of that in the short term. And obviously, NVIDIA has been poised for a long time to be the primary beneficiary of that because their chips are the AI leader, and that's going to be a big part of the metaverse, and that's why NVIDIA was the #1 holding in the Meta ETF before any of this Facebook stuff, or I guess Meta nonsense happened. It's not really nonsense, so I don't think anything has changed there. I think people are just gonna want to play off of that hype now. When it comes to, and we talked about, I think Sean mentioned it there, that 323 since the split is the top, and that's the only reason why I'm not looking at a 320 break, because you do have that all-time high close just above that price, and I think that makes it easier for a dip buy in NVIDIA today. I'll also be looking at a potential opportunities for AMD, I think, which in a lot of ways, and maybe it has to settle down a little bit, probably should be playing a little bit of a catch-up, at least from what I could tell. And I will say, good look on the, I actually had forgotten that Macy's had the call and was very close to just now when it was testing 35 to getting into a trade. And yeah, we'll let that call happen before making any trades. I always suggest, unless you're listening to it and trying to trade off of what comes on an earnings call, a lot of times it's better off to ignore some of the things you might see, because levels might not matter in the pre-market during an earnings call. It's just going to chew through them based on momentum in the algo. So going to back off on Macy's until closer to the open. Thanks for the reminder, Brennan.
We have right now Bitcoin starting to go back downside here. I mean, I guess right now we're just sub 60 here on Bitcoin. And again, we talked about this yesterday, man. We've held this 58 a couple times, 58.5, 1, 2, 3, and then basically right now again down to 58.7. So it's held. Bitcoin keeps getting bought up. We'll look at GBTC today. Obviously, there's the Ethereum Trust as well over there, and that's at 42. Ethereum doing a little bit better right now. But if you go to the daily chart, I mean, I don't know. I keep reading stuff like, you know, it's still 100% from here, 300% from here. You know, that Ethereum's still going to make moves to the upside. Whether or not it does or not, you got to find some sort of areas of support. I think 4,000's held here. We'll see if it can still hold. But right now, Ethereum and Bitcoin starting to take a little bit of a nosedive here in the last week or so. But you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I say nosedive, but realistically, is it? Facebook, I still think, you know, whether or not you believe in the metaverse or what's happening, it's probably a little bit hyped up right now. You see 50% moves in AMD and NVIDIA in 1 month. I mean, an unbelievable move up. We've been pairing some off. It's been wrong. Getting out has been wrong because we're at the highs right now. So let's see if it continues to go upside. NASDAQ, you know, NASDAQ, S&P, all near all-time highs, if not at all-time highs right now. So, you know, our last buy was Facebook down here at 310, 311. So that was a good one. I haven't bought AMD, I haven't bought NVIDIA, I haven't bought anything in the last month other than Facebook in the metaverse. So, well, actually, I bought Roblox. What am I talking about? Roblox, I mean, that's another one. We did something this morning. Look at Roblox. It was this morning at 120. Yeah, I was going to say 128. Now 129. I mean, as much as we're holding the bag on something like a Clover or a PaySafe or something like that, like we've almost doubled our money in Roblox. We bought 7750s. We've almost doubled our money here in a week on Roblox, right? And so some of that helps take away the pain of the other plays. So that's why you got to be well diversified, man. I hold, like in my long-term account, which is where Roblox is, I hold like 30 to 40 names probably, both in Canada and in the US, right? And I've just added Roblox to that spot as well. So I think you got to be well diversified in this market, including healthcare, financials, and obviously stocks in the metaverse. So I'm just long all the best ones, I think, anyways. Facebook, AMD, NVIDIA, now Roblox. The only one that I really missed that I shouldn't have, because my kid was coding with Unity software like a year ago and telling me about how good it was, playing Among Us, doing everything like that. Shout out to Mr. Cheese as well. And, you know, it's like I knew about Unity software, should have got in on that on the IPO, missed it, and been kicking myself ever since. So I think Unity is one that I'm looking at on a pullback, Brendo.
A few other names to discuss this morning that reported, guys. We were talking about some of the Chinese e-commerce names late in the day yesterday ahead of earnings for Alibaba and JD.com. Heading in the opposite direction here this morning for both of those. Alibaba to the downside in a big way, guys, after missing on their quarterly revenue expectations. DD as well, I noticed moving around here early on as well. But big miss for Baba. JD, on the other hand, looking a little more positive. There's Victoria's Secret reported as well. There's a whole bunch of kind of names we should kind of touch on here that are definitely active or more active in the pre-market than normal.
Yeah, like this. The thing about it is when Singles Day came through and the numbers were impressive, you actually saw this same thing play out with JD and then Alibaba, with JD reacting positively to those numbers and Alibaba reacting negatively. And I said last night, it's like Alibaba could take over the world overnight and the stock would probably still go down. I'm sitting here basically, essentially, as an Alibaba, you know, shareholder, bag holder, whatever you want to call it, not doing anything about the fact that JD has just been the better performer. And there's simply no way around it. I know Alibaba gets all of the attention, but you're in a positive uptrend. You're reacting positively to good news, which last time I checked is what you want to see happen in a stock. I mean, you don't want them going down on positive news, which Singles Day is exactly what happened on Alibaba. And, you know, JD's sort of primed for this potential. I don't know if it'll happen today, like 88 break, which it did make a double top up here at 88. It's a significant level. And Alibaba, at this particular point, like that sucker could be headed down to that 130 level, maybe testing that 150 today. If I probably look at my chart, it could already be there. Last I checked, it was about 152. And like I said, they just headed in opposite directions from a momentum standpoint. As a day trade, the only one I'll look to go long is going to be JD and Alibaba. I'm looking to short some pops. Actually have an offer out in case it pops up to 54, 55 to try to fade that. I'll be looking for a JD breakout. I don't like it in the pre-market because the volume isn't really there. Yeah, but once we open up, this if I had to play one of the long side, it's definitely going to be JD.com. I mean, at some point, you have to look at where the momentum is in this case, and definitely where it isn't in Alibaba, which, like we said, it's been under a lot of pressure. I think sometimes the trend is your friend, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I'll probably just cover my Alibaba and switch everything into Palantir or something like that today. I've been holding Alibaba long. I'm still long at 208. It's been a crazy trade. I wanted the long initially and then just got caught up in that. Here it's on the initial break up to 300, missed it and then started averaging back in. It's on the sticky note right here today, Alibaba. Look, it's been bad here. Now they miss, like give me a break. So Alibaba now finally misses. They've been bad. I said yesterday, no matter what happens, Alibaba is gonna someone asked, what do you think about Alibaba earnings? I said, it doesn't matter, and it seems to be completely right. Although, I don't know what it would have been if it was a good. Revenue down, short here, whatever the pre-market low is, we want to go short on the open. The possible resistance upside of 158. So that's a level of resistance that we're looking at here for Alibaba. I might not even look at it today as a trade, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been absolutely on fire here this month and for a very long time, trading names that have been hot fire. And honestly, Alibaba, man, we're going to go back to the well and trade names that we're familiar with. We haven't even put a trade on for you guys on this name in months, I would say probably. And it's going to fail, man. It is going to come back down here to 130, 140 at some point. So I think it's probably worth cutting bait. They do break through this. I won't cut everything, but I'll cut something. And then it'll go through this one. I'll just see what happens today. We're well below the 50 period. It's failed. Alibaba just can't get out of its own way. If we do have an opportunity to short it back, what did I come up with that 158? We'll find it. It's back here. So if you sort of zoom back out here, 158, this cut, it's because darn it, that wick is there. Anyways, 158 is right here. It's this sort of bottom that we made back on the 5th, 6th. So if we can get any shares back into 158, I think it's worth shorting. But you're at 152 right now. So I think Alibaba, RIP to this one for now. I'm not going to do anything in the Chinese space. If anything, it'll be Tencent. I love Tencent. And then as I've been saying as well, why even mess with any of these and just buy this FXI here, the iShares China 100. I think that's the best name, the safest name, and your money at least will stay in your pocket temporarily.
Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto, back with us again. Rahim, good to see you as always. I can't believe we're already talking about holiday shopping ideas because it's getting to that time of year, but always good to be prepared. So let's discuss some opportunities or potential opportunities here, maybe within the retail sector or anything that's going to maybe get a benefit from increased retail shopping here coming up in the next week is U.S. Thanksgiving. It's crazy. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Let's jump right into this. Dollarama, first one, DOL. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, a lot of our friends in the U.S. will know the obvious dollar store names down there. But Dollarama is the biggest one here in Canada, 1,380 stores, 17.5 billion market cap, trading about $57.50. It's traded between $46 and $61 this year. It's a steady Eddie if you believe in the inelasticity and elasticity of certain products. People will always be going out to buy those products at the dollar store. So it's a name that's been very interesting. They are the biggest in Canada. They have gone into South America with a brand called Dollar City. They own 50.1% of that. So they're in El Salvador, Colombia, Peru as well. But here in Canada, 1,380 stores. What they did see during COVID year over year was same-store sales were down 5%, but the net margins were still very good at 14%. So what you got to think about is going into the holiday season, will people be going out to buy more products from these stores during the holidays? And also with the easing of restrictions, people coming back into the malls and such, because this is a place where you go to buy physical products versus online. So that'll be an interesting play for the holidays. If anyone needs to get those knickknacks for the house, gift bags, things of that nature, if you believe that that's the play, then holiday sales should generate a good return for Dollarama going forward. And as we see restrictions coming off.
Dollarama, a good place for stocking stuffers, as is Indigo. A lot of people are going to be going there for stocking stuffers heading into Christmas.
Right, a little bit of a lower volume name, but again, right down the middle for a holiday name. It trades around $4, has gone between $2 and $5 this year. a couple of interesting things to note. They recently had some numbers come out. So they had 239 million of revenue, up 16%. And interestingly was their EBITDA came in at about 10.5 million versus a loss of over 11 million last year, again, due to COVID. So you've got store reopenings, people buying holiday gifts. That will potentially bode well for the company. And they don't have supply chain issues like a lot of people do. They have about 318 million sitting on their balance sheet in inventory. So they should have enough product for people that want to go in physical stores or online shopping. The only drawback might be the fact that some of their Starbucks locations have since closed with Starbucks announcements. And the government's not giving as much money here in Canada to stores like Indigo now. So that'll be interesting to note, but holiday shopping name for sure.
All right, bit of a different angle here. Let's talk tech because a lot of these stores are going to require some tech to make these sales during the holiday season. Crazy month last month for Lightspeed. Where are we at now?
So that was, I think, just about a few weeks ago, we were on talking about Lightspeed, and the numbers had just come out, and 2 weeks prior was the short report. So since that short report came out, they're down 46%. They put out numbers a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about it, and most of the banks were expecting sort of this 30% pullback to be the extent of it, but it's gone down 46%. Supply chain concerns, like a lot of people have talked about. Will they have enough stuff for holidays? Will their client base have enough stuff for holidays? Will be interesting. They've got they're into the location numbers are going up, transaction numbers are going up. But they just didn't really, on the back of the short report, didn't really hit a home run when they came out with their numbers and their commentary on it. So that was sort of probably why the stock continued to drift down. Most bank analysts that have coverage on this have them at 127 as their consensus. So again, it just depends on how you view them being able to get their technology out into the world. And will that continue? Will their acquisitions be able to come to fruition? Will they be able to vend them in properly? So it's a very volatile name, one that traders should probably really like the fact that it pops around a lot.
One more now on the smaller cap side of things, more of a spec play, I guess. I'm not terribly familiar with this Devon Nation. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, because we were talking about retail and just said, let's look at some stuff that's sort of retail adjacent, like a tech. So we had the Lightspeed. Devon Nation, so they are in the digital smart labels space. They trade around 50 cents. They trade between 26 and 78 cents. The last 30 days, the volume has more than doubled compared to its average volume. So they're in the digital smart label space, like a SaaS model, but a product as a service model. And smart labels, so if you go in, the labels are sort of real-time live product labels. They might change the pricing. They might change the promos. They can do all of that real-time versus just the static, $39.95 label. They've got tests going in here at the LCBO, which is the Liquor Store Control Board of Ontario. They've got tests in at Toys R Us, Petro-Canada. In the States, they've gone into True Value. So as they get these tests going, as they come to monetization on those and rolling out across some of these bigger brands, if that does come to fruition, that could be an interesting play. But the digital smart label space is one that's, again, very much tied to retail and how people can live edit their pricing and promos on pricing.
Busiest travel week of the year coming up south of the border next week. Obviously, not necessarily the same here in this country, but there is a lot of back and forth, cross-border travel going to happen between now and the end of the year. Air Canada, obviously the biggest airline here in this country. I mean, it's been a rough ride. Obviously, we all know about the pandemic, but what do we think here for some of these airlines?
Yeah, so we've talked about a couple of airlines as a post-COVID play and what's going to happen. Air Canada is sitting right down in the middle of its 52-week number between 19 and 31 is where it's traded. It's trading at $24. So this is a complete leverage play to how you view holiday travel. So on the plus side, you've got people going on vacations. You've got an increased number of passengers. Cargo's going way up as well. And they brought their costs down. They've right-sized their costs during COVID. The downside of what may happen is you look in the U.S., there have been a bunch of flight cancellations for a variety of reasons. Does that hit Air Canada? They've got 800 out of their 27,000 staff non-vaccinated. So does that affect how they're able to staff their flights? So it's a very leveraged play to how you view travel reopening coming in. And will people be spending their money on increased travel costs, if there are any, or will they be sitting at home? How do they pass along oil prices, and how do they deal with staff issues? So people do want to travel, but with all of these other things, it's going to be a complete leverage play. So it just depends on which side of the token you fall on. Are you getting on a flight, or are you staying at home and shopping at home?
Raheem Alani, Managing Director, OCI Groups here in Toronto. Some holiday shopping ideas, Raheem. Great information as always. We appreciate your time.
Anytime.
We're heading into that time of year. It's pretty impressive, guys. Some interesting thoughts there for some possible ideas before the end of the year here.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, Raheem brought Lightspeed to our attention, of course, before, and we saw how much that moved. And, obviously there's other opportunities, some dual listed and then others not here in Canada. Air Canada, an interesting play there as well. I'm a little bit more pessimistic, I suppose, in the airlines, and we'll see what does happen with regards to that. I just wanted to point to I know the call's going on right now as well, but Macy's now for the fourth time testing this high at 34.80. It's got a 35 top as well. So primed, it's up 12.5%, looking like it wants to go more here. Sort of primed to take out this level at 35. So big time movers. I mean, as we say that, now less than $1 away from the high in NVIDIA at 320 as well. So some big time movers already.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. I like UAL there. If you're talking about some Canadian content with Air Canada, I like UAL for the same reasons there as Air Canada. I think it'll be fun to see. Come on, charts. I think it'll be fun to see what happens here into the Christmas season. Obviously, we're coming up to Thanksgiving next week as well. So that's another angle for the United States rather than here in Canada. And of course, UAL, big international flyers. So we'll see how they can deal with oil prices. I believe oil prices turn southbound here very soon. We've talked about that. So, and that's great for the airlines. So UAL upside here, should have it. We'll see where we go, but you're down 10% in about a week or so on UAL, from 55 down to 48 and change, trying to find some balance here. So I don't mind that. The only airline I'm in is the maker of airlines, and that is Boeing right now, the maker of the jets, and they're going to have some more news coming up soon as well. But you can see right here back into some support. Obviously 44, 45, 46 is nice for UAL, but you're bouncing off a 50 period right now down at 48. So I think this is a position that might be worth starting here, and I may just do that coming up soon as NVIDIA breaks through 320, man. We called that from a long time ago, and I just wish I was heavier in NVIDIA as it's breaking through 320 right now, Brendan.
All right, speaking of holiday shopping, let's go. Upgrades and downgrades. There's Best Buy. I'm talking about Wells Fargo upgrading Best Buy today. Yeah, there's Boeing as well. JP Morgan liking Boeing today. NVIDIA's on here. Roblox on here. The Chinese names to the downside today. Victoria's Secret, interesting, decent report. Their first report since the spinoff was completed. So positive on the day, you can see, but price target cut there from Wells Fargo, guys.
Yes, sir. And one name right there at the bottom of that list on the downgrade side is going to be Context Logic Wish. And I'm just going to bring it up. It's not really moving a heck of a lot today. It's flat on the session, but we are now 17 cents away from that 460 low. To put in a bit of a double bottom there. If that breaks, I think it's a short through that level. I think it's a short if it gets back to the 50 period. So Context Logic, it's not really moving yet, but it's on the radar. It catches the downgrade, and it's close enough to that level that I think it's going to be worth a look if it just falls even a little bit down here, guys. So Wish is on my radar, but probably for not the reasons that shareholders would like. I think it's a short through the all-time low.
Yeah, I mean, there's NVIDIA breaking through 320, man. I said we're going to take out, I mean, I even said it on the notes here, and I like, this is when it was at 316. I said we're taking out the all-time high of 323, so there you go. Should have got more aggressive here. We were waiting for 312, thinking that there might have been a possible dip here in NVIDIA, but realistically, 316, it bounced off so many times, and I just sat here and watched it. Should still be long, should be long right now, 316 and not, so that's pretty bad. We'll see here. It's going to take out some new highs. It might even break the all-time high in the pre-market. It's only 9 o'clock, so you still have a half hour to go on NVIDIA. This name's going to continue to work. So is AMD. I mean, look at this. 156. Wowzers, guys. As we'll just an amazing, amazing run on these meta names. And I don't know. I feel like I almost don't even feel like you've missed the boat. I mean, it's crazy to say that, being now up like 60% now NVIDIA in a month. I mean, it's going higher, so I don't know. What are we going to do? I'm still going to wait for pullbacks on these names, but I'm speechless right now. I mean, we talked about this yesterday at 288. Remember yesterday when we had this dip, and I was just jokingly saying, oh, we should just buy it right now. Big time movement up to 321. So congratulations, anybody long. I hate being, like I was saying, like I'd rather be overweight in this name than under. And at 2% or 1.8%, it's you know, should be a lot heavier than that. I mean, this NVIDIA is going to be, honestly, I mean, this might even just be my call of 2022. And I mean, we'll make it on Jan 1, but wow, NVIDIA, I'm just impressed with this name.
Crazy moves for that entire sector on that as well. Speaking of NVIDIA today, top of the list on the watch list today, guys, that is the link to go and grab the free watch list. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. You can use the QR code if you are fast enough with your phone as well. Free watch list every day for you. We do your homework. NVIDIA, Sean just talking about it there. I mean, there's not much negativity to talk about in this report, if any at all, guys. So what do we do with this?
So before we get to that, two things. I did take, I mean, probably not a full position on Macy's just because of the cautionary on the call there, but 35 did break. So I'll give it to 34.50. And then there was a news story. Ford is partnering with Global Foundries to increase chip supplies. GFS, I should show you the daily here. That's, of course, the recent IPO. They just broke 66, their, I guess, all-time high, obviously, because it hasn't been around very long. So just yet another name, up 50% since their IPO. I love them and then didn't buy them, which is kind of ridiculously stupid, in my opinion. I think there's two sides to the chip play, and the other side of it is going to be production and the fab side of things. And you know, that's why I like being invested on both ends of that. And I picked Intel, which I think is making that move, and should have added Global Foundries. I'm going to find a place to get into this bad boy on any kind of a dip. I might just have to buy it incrementally as it goes. Momentum now through all-time highs, obviously. I'll look at $70. I'll probably try to play a dip, 65 or 66 at the open if there's a chance. But GFS on the move on its own news as well.
Okay, so you asked about NVIDIA, Brendan. I mean, I just sort of did it before we went there, and I apologize for that. But I mean, I just think that this is going to continue to go. It's on our watch list right here today and on the sticky notes. So what do people think about the Stream Deck here? We got our little logos in the background here. You can see some of the things that we hit: puke, wink, falling money, chicken getting blasted there. Here's NVIDIA, man. Monster quarter. No point in going over the numbers because they beat everywhere, guide higher, everything. We'll look to take out 323 all-time high, buy dips all day, support at 312 if we get close. So, you know, not saying much, but saying a lot there, I think, at the same time. Like, there's no point in even reviewing the numbers. They're all there on the watch list. So, Brendan, maybe we will show that one more time, watchlist.tradertv.live. You can hit the QR code on that one and get it, but the numbers are there. I just think 316 is maybe the dip buy that we're looking for at this point. I'm not going to bust the long on the open. I think you're up 10% already. This is going to be a monster play moving forward. I'm really thinking that this may be a spot where there is, I mean, forget about this. This has just been a monster. Like, can you believe we were at 750 there? We split 7-1 or 6, I guess it was 5-1 up here when we split from 700 down to 150 there, 5-1. And now you're back up to 320 on that. Like, this has just been a disgusting move. You don't even have to go back that far. I mean, even if we go back just to, this is 190. I mean, it was kind of trailing here. So 190 back in July, upside here, you're going to get, I mean, here comes fading back in. You could get some profit taking at these levels, which is what I was saying. So that's why I'm not going to take the long off the open. We'll wait to see. We've already been up here before. So this is not like new territory, but it's going to be new territory soon when we do take out that 323. So I think you dip buy into here. There's not too many levels. We talked about where 312 comes from. If I can get that, that'd be great. But right now, that's the only bid I have on NVIDIA, waiting for that 312. Probably not going to come in, and if it doesn't, that's fine, and then we'll start to base out on some other levels. The best play, I think that's most likely, is we come down to this 316, we look a little bit lower, and then we take off to the upside. That's the play that I want. I want a break of a key level after we've already made a bottom, because right now, there is no bottom in this thing. I mean, we haven't really tested. The only thing we've tested is 316, so unless Stone Cold Steve Austin's around here, we're going to wait for 316 to hold.
He's somewhere.
He's somewhere, yeah. I think he's on those, was it Bel Air Direct or something? They're doing those calls with iced tea.
Yeah,
I forget what it is now.
The only thing I want to add to that is where I think you get the notion of some of these levels, because when we got up here the last time and NVIDIA fell back, you had a resistance at 316 and you had a support at 309, and that 308, 309 held up as the resistance that entire time. So I think that's the target area for any kind of a dip, and anywhere in that range that dips and consolidates is worth a bit of a buy. And it's a big target range, but then there's still $7 to that pre-market high that it got to before. So you know, I don't feel there's any short trading in stock today. I mean, if there is one, I don't really necessarily see it. I suppose the only level would be if it's somehow, I mean, if it got to like 350 or something, right? Like you got an absolutely explosion into a level like that, then I think you could have a look at like a 350 or something if you wanted to fade it.
All right, let's bring in Arun, get a check of the overall market here to kick things off, just seeing Alibaba accelerating to the downside here. Arun, we are positive. What are you looking at today?
Yeah, we're positive, and yesterday was somewhat of a slow day after we kind of fell into the low 80s. I did mark off 80s. I think in the chat it was posted there. I had 46.80 marked off as a level. That's level still in play. Top end was 47.15. That is still in play. We're kind of stuck here in the middle. So both sides are wide open. If there's a setup on the short side, you can use a short above 4,700 with the 47.15 stop. And then the same thing for the downside. If you have a long setup below 46.90, you have that 46.80 available for you. And below that, you have that 46.65 as well. So levels haven't really changed in the last couple of days. Market's gone a little bit sideways. So we're going to respect that. Wait for this market to decide which direction it wants to go, set up. Whichever setup you get, you take it to the opposite side. And then if you get the reversal opportunity, you spin the trade around and you take the opposing trade as well. So for now, we're going to be kind of trading in between these two bands and see if we can trade inside the range. If you get the breakout through the top, though, 47.15 is the marker I'm looking at on the top end. If you get above that, you really do have a chance because there's no real, nothing to the left. It's all new territory. So you really do have a chance for this market to expand a little bit more to the upside. So that would be the easier trade of the two versus trading inside the range. We'll see if this market has this juice. It does look like it's going to be a positive bias going into the open, at least based on what I'm seeing right now. We're kind of stalling here around 4,700, but we've done this before, and it seems like there's enough support around this 95 area that we can actually maybe take a shot to the upside once again. If you do get that breakout, though, I think the easier trade is through the top end with a 47.15 breakout.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's jump over to this brand new EV entrant as of yesterday. Big move for SEV on the IPO. We did get that early move back down. However, guys, we're trying to hold some levels here for this SEV up 15% still. I mean, it's kind of liking 43, it would appear.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really barcoding because it's a $2 range, but it's bouncing back and forth at 43. I mean, it was one of those probably obvious, seemingly obvious situations where it gapped up to $50, and then the second retail order flow came through at 7 a.m. You saw it pull back already, so there was some selling action on light volume. It pops back in and then is retesting close to 50, and if you were holding overnight at the close or better, I mean, it's a fantastic return, and then just immediately selling off that 50 level, which I think everybody was sort of looking at as, the next obvious spot. And then you had a monster sell-off of profit takers all the way into yesterday's close, or essentially that. I'm looking back at that 50 level, any pop at the open. And again, don't get me wrong, like I think as far as an IPO goes, when you're in the right space, you're going to get that momentum. It wasn't a lot of shares available in the market, so that's going to be another reason why with that low float that it's going to have the chance to spike. But with profit taking being a thing and already putting in that sharp a pullback, I think if it manages to pop into 48 and a half off the open, I'd be looking to fade it in front of 50. I don't like the breakdown. Like if it takes this level out at 42, I'm not as comfortable with that short, risking $3 or $4 in there to like 45 because you do have yesterday's close that it could catch a little bit of a bid. So I'd need to see it trade a little bit higher into that 50 range, closer to that 50 range to try the short, which I have paid for. There were I think it was about twice as much in terms of cost per share. So obviously as the stock price increases, people see more of an ability for profit from shorting it if it comes back in. And then if 50 breaks, I think you got a momentum breakout. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case right now, but you absolutely never know. I did cover some of Macy's in front of 35.25, which is the current high. I'm going to try to hold the rest into the open here and then just see how far it can go. Macy's, as usual, with the short interest, always has a chance to continue going higher, even if fundamentally you might not think it should.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks. I mean, just talking with you, Jude, there. Yeah, I mean, thanks for acknowledging that. I mean, I know I called NVIDIA at 190, and thanks for the shout out on the chat there. I think it just adds credibility. I mean, we can all make calls, and some are going to be bad, some are going to be good, and that was a good one, NVIDIA. And I think that that's what it's about. Yesterday, SCV was my #1 stock by far. We absolutely crushed that yesterday on SCV. We actually took the IPO open there, boomed that up, boomed it up again, and then we were long into the close. As you guys know, we had this long, and then I actually called it. I said, if I could hold this overnight, this is probably going to hit 50 bucks. It hits 49 and change, and then comes just crashing right back down. 50 is probably going to be a pie in the sky area today. We'll see if it can get up there. I don't know. We do know that obviously on the IPO there, Sono came out absolutely on fire, just like Rivian did. So this is probably a take again at 45, a 45 break, which is happening right now. It's just a matter of like, do you want to take these things in the pre-market? And that's what I was saying about, about NVIDIA, is that I think it does take out that 323, but I would rather see it base out a little bit, which it's trying to do right now, even at 320. So we'll wait to see there. And I think SEV is kind of the same thing. If you're going to trade this name, you got to have an out. I mean, you're seeing Rivian right now back down to 140. So whether or not you're going to hold this for a week, like Rivian's just a week old right now today, IPO'd last Wednesday. So you're going to see SEV probably do very similar movements, continue to move to the upside here until, it settles down. Remember, Rivian had options availability the last couple of days, so that's probably why it's coming to the downside as well. But yeah, I mean, I like it today. I think a 45 break could be something that's worth looking at, and we'll see about taking that, man. A break through 45, and we'll see what SEV does there, and we'll move on from that. But right now, I like that name. Good liquidity, 5 million shares already today. A nice level too. Shortable shares as well for us. So yeah, SEV, good to go.
All right, let's keep going here. Macy's, another one with a big move here in the pre-market, guys. As we said, the call, I think, was 8:30, so might be nearing the end. So a heads up, if you are on Macy's this morning, Neil, you were looking at this one, 34.5, gets taken out there on that last little push to the upside. You don't see Macy's up this much typically.
Well, yeah, exactly. On earnings, you certainly will see it. But this stock, I mean, they've made a turnaround with the business, I think, which is certainly reflected in the daily chart. And then the other aspect of this, of course, is the short interest, and maybe I'll bug you to get an update on it, exactly what it is. I mean, I think the last time I checked on FinViz, it was probably close to I thought it was 15%, but we can double check that. The 35 break has more to do with an even number than anything else. It was like your triple top here up at that 34.80 or so. And you guys, if you watch the show long enough, I'm not a huge fan of taking a breakout at a level like that when you're running, right into like an even number. So I just essentially wait for 35 even. Like I said, took some out at the quarters. I'm looking to see if it can now hold this recent high at 34.70 because it's been established. So I would throw out that random like 34.50, which was just the lower high from before, and then reestablish it here at 34.70. At this point, up 13%, given that in most respects, I believe Macy's probably gone too high off of this report, especially where some of the other retail has gone. Then I definitely think that you could have one of those snaps back. And given that it has not taken out that quarter mark, let alone that 50 going into the open, if it can't do that on a break like this, then it turns into a bit of a failed break. And you've seen what can happen at the open when you get a failed break on a monster gap up like a Macy's and everyone runs to the exit to take profit. So a bit of a tight leash on the rest of this trade, and we'll try to hold it to the open. But if it can't hold this now newly established 70 level, I'm not going to be digging in too deep with this.
Yeah, so I've been looking at Macy's. We'll wait. Again, it's on my stop list, on my watch list here. The sticky note. Great quarter, raised sales, profit outlook. Long on Macy's again. But we'll wait to see. Come on, let's go. I want to buy. I mean, it's on New York. I don't know what was going on. It was just New York. I want to buy 32, 33 dip. We'll see if it can come through, man. I mean, just 35.20, whatever. That's 20 cents there. If you could break that high, then we'll probably take this. But for right now, again, I'm just amazed that we're up like this. I mean, Macy's has just been an absolute rocket upside there. I said this yesterday, I thought that the danger was back to the downside. Look how far away from the 50-period moving average we are. This is an absolutely insane move. There's no way I can recommend buying this thing to hold in any sort of a portfolio right now. It's just too far up. But they continue to execute a great quarter. If you're long this name already, man, I would ring the register a little bit on this. But wow for Macy's, great quarter. We'll try to buy some dips. And then another one that we've actually called here that continues to print for us every single day is Ford. It breaks back through $20 today. Ford's been an absolute monster for us as well, as has GM. We're long in the 40s on GM. We're long down here like sub 10 on Ford. It's been an absolute monster. And I don't know. I don't want to sell anything anymore. I've been sort of getting out and getting the money, putting the money to work in other places, like a UiPath. We bought recently Roblox and things like that. But honestly, right now, Ford, I don't even want to dump any. If I was going to do anything on Ford, it would be to rotate back into, or not back in, I'm still in Fisker, but get more Fisker at these levels. I think this is something that could be bought. I mean, we've seen the huge run up on Lucid based on the car of the year with the Air. Yeah, Macy's, same thing. It was 15.5% short. Looks like on Icon and on Trade Ideas.
yeah.
So that should be what that is. Fisker also has a short interest as well. That's why we sell stuff like Disney at 175. That's why we sell it, right? That's why we sell Coinbase at 360. And not only that, like I'm giving you these trades, like all my ins, all my outs. I've even telling you when we were selling AMD at 120, 125. It's wrong. I mean, but raising capital for what? I don't know. But we're going to try to find and get our money into something else. I still think right now on that upsized offering, we're going to see how far Clover goes, but I want to see where Clover does today. Again, I just think that this is going to be an opportunity. This is not for a day trade. This is not for a swing trade, nothing like that. Can Clover get back to $8? Yes, it can, I believe. So when you go from 570 back up to 8, I think that's going to be a good long. I want to try to timestamp like today. What is it? November 18th. Let's see what happens here on Clover. But my average price, I think, was 778 or something. So we're not too far bad. I mean, it's bad, but we're going to wait to double. I'm literally going to double down either today or tomorrow, something like that on Clover. Let's just see how this offering is bought up, priced at 575, and then downside more for Clover. Hopefully it flushes off the open and we can pick something up. I missed that trade on Coinbase, but so far so good here for Clover, holding the 575. Now, whether or not we test 550 or not, yeah. We're going to do the same trade on Clover, actually, where, when we crushed PaySafe a couple days in a row there, and we actually crushed Clover, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? You got to let these things find a bottom, and then when they do that, that's like you're sort of okay to go. So right now, the bottom is right here at 575. I'd rather have a flush, build a base like at 560, 565, something like that, and then punch this thing with another winning ticket to the upside, guys, and continue our, our extremely profitable November. Let's see if that can happen.
Just seeing this note, guys, on BioNTech and Pfizer. Looks like a German panel approving their COVID-19 booster shot. They need that because I saw yesterday 52,000 cases in Germany yesterday of COVID-19. So there you go. Another booster shot on the way, which will hopefully help that problem. There's Kohl's, 10% for KSS off of earnings as well. So maybe a group thing today for the retailers.
Group thing, why not? Or a groove thing. That's an old song. But look, Kohl's is at least particularly primed. We talked about this, I think, last night about if you got a chance at this 60 break. And obviously, you've gone through here and blown that out of the water, and you're now looking back to the 65 top, triple top actually, going back into early in the year and then into middle of the spring there. So I think 65 is a reasonable sort of target where I think you might run into resistance here today. It's a dip buy for me into 60. Kohl's is not a huge volume name ultimately, and I wasn't necessarily watching it at 9-10, but if you ever see something like this again, where you have a strong name, you have some room to go, you have support at that 60 potential break, which I think could be a bit of a dip buy if it gets down there. And then you get barcoding like this, decent chance this was just an iceberg at 61.50, and then you got a clean break of that right back into the pre-market highs. That's a kind of scalp trade that if you're trading something in the pre-market that doesn't do a ton of volume, probably a little bit safer if you catch an iceberg seller breaking, someone just trying to unload for some profit going into the open. But that trade is come and gone. Now double top at 62.5, about 250 risk to reward in both directions from the high of the day here up to back down to that 60 resistance that turned into support. And then, of course, 250 into that 65, 1-to-1. Don't like a breakout 1-to-1, especially on low volume. So that's why I prefer dip buying Kohl's if I could. SEV, because there's no getting away from these today. It is approaching that 49.50 level. We're about 10 minutes away from the open, so this is pretty well set up to make that run at that 50 level right away at the open. The other way to play this probably more safely if you're looking to short it, which I'm not. I didn't do it yesterday, but I was looking for it at some point. Would be to allow it to be a failed break through 50 even, pop through 50, and if it can't go to buck or so and then comes right back down at 930, then short it off of that high. So SEV certainly on the move. Macy's now at 35.35. I want to try to hold this one into the open, but if it takes out 50, and then starts to put in a bit of a reversal right at 9:30. I still think it's gone a little bit far here on Macy, so I would be willing to take some out here again right at 9:30. I'm going to be watching that one very, very closely.
All right, we talked about SEV going to $50, and there it is again. So hit the banger up right there as it's going right through 50 soon. We'll see. I think it gets that before. I mean, you have 10 minutes. I mean, it just went up 10% in 5 minutes, not even. So a big move upside there for SEV. Looks like it's going to take out these tops, man. If I haven't learned my lesson now about buying IPOs that are in the right space, then you're never going to learn. This was a double up in a day. So this is what I mean, like when you're holding PaySafe down 50% and things like that, you can make this back with plays like an SEV, like a Global Foundries, like a Rivian, like a Lucid. I mean, there's so many plays out there. And I keep saying to my wife, it's like all this hype about crypto, like, wow, Bitcoin's down 10%, like, the world's coming to an end. Like SEV today is up 26%. Rivian down 10%. Like this happens on stocks and on equity so often that a lot of the time these plays get missed. Like you got to be aggressive. You got to be on some of these names. And here goes SEV. Let's watch it through $50, man. It's gonna just keep printing. Here we go with SEV. And then we just talked about Ford as well. I mean, this is another play that's just been an absolute monster. And again, you look at old tech, right? Like Intel, absolutely dead, right? Cisco, dead. Good name, Qualcomm, nice move to the upside. You gotta pick your spots on some of these names, right? Ford may be overextended right now. It looks like it. It's well off here on its daily average, well ahead, just like I said, NVIDIA or that other name, Macy's was against its 50-period moving average. But again, unless there's an epic crash coming in the market, I think you got to keep your money in these strong names. And I think we do a great job of covering not only the meme stocks, right? But we're also covering a lot of these other ones. Like I was long AMC calls last year, $2. Same with a lot of you guys. I mean, how good was that trade, right? You can find a lot of monstrous trades over and over and over again. So if you're in some bad positions, man, keep your head high. The market is what it is, and you just got to look at your time frame. Just like I was telling Lucas, just today, like he was amazed, and I see that right there, Brian Buckley as well. Your average price on NVIDIA near 70, like mine. I mean, that's what happens. You buy stock, good names, and you try to get in and out of them. That's fine, but you always want to hold the core position and to let these big names run. And that's why when I look at an AMC, although right now in the daily it's pretty choppy, it does have opportunities, man, to go back and forth. I wish this thing was back here at 33, 34 because I think it's a free like 20, 30% back through 40 again, right? So AMC on watch as well. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. First, A, I got to go get my water. And then B, I wanted to look at the imbalances quickly for you as the NASDAQ not out yet. But here's Alibaba. Holy
I know, right?
Oh, man. Short the pre-market low is what I said, but you can't do that until the pre-market's over. So where the hell's that low going to be right now? There's Ford, monster, man. We are loving Roblox. Again, there's another one, right? Long at 77. Right? To take away this horrible stock. PaySafe near 4 is going to be interesting today, so we could watch that. DD Global, I'm never buying another Chinese name. I'm going to sell Alibaba, and then I may buy Tencent, or I may buy that FXI, but nothing else. I think you're crazy if you do anything else. Pfizer right now as well. This one's sneakily back up to $51. We talked about that yesterday. I'm going to go grab some water, but that's the imbalances, and I'll leave it up on my screen.
A few other ones to get through, guys, as we head through to the open here. I want to mention Rivian. I just noticed Lucid back above 50, or trying at least to stay back above 50 on a big move to the downside again today. So some of the selling that we saw come in this group yesterday kind of continuing here for the Rivian and the Lucids of the world.
There's a lot to get to, obviously. I just got into one of the names on our watch list there, this RAAS. There was a monster, like a couple of 100,000 share bids that got taken out at 490 and a resistance at 5 and then 515. So I'm playing off the 515 resistance. Rivian just broke at the same time that SEV was making its break. Rivian essentially did the same thing. So they just followed each other if you were watching closely here. And I'm looking back to this 142 level on Rivian. Like there's not a heck of a lot of price history to go by, but what little you do have, you did have, I guess sort of in the afternoon, it was holding up at this 145, it checked up there, and then you had this lower high it's this support level at about 140.5. Split the difference, and you're looking at this 142. If it can get taken out, I think it probably makes a run at that top. I think the buying is likely to come back into Rivian at some point. Clearly, if it goes to 125, that's your most obvious area of support I think that you're going to find here. I would hold out if it takes a low for that 125 level, but certainly this 142 to 145 should be rather key today. Another one before we go back to Brendan here, because everyone's asking about us. A lot of people are going to ask about Affirm, which had an offering as well. I think that was a good decision by them to raise some money and take advantage of what's been a fantastic run for them. The key level here, 142. That's a biggie. It was resistance if you go all the way back to its initial push up on the IPO and where it turned around, and it's been support all week long on Affirm. If this does not hold, I think you're going potentially $5 or $10 lower. But that's the place I want to buy a dip in front of Affirm. If it breaks, I want no part of it. In fact, it could be a short through that 142. And another one, small cap there for you, Brendan, that's also on the watch list at Cardiff.
CRDF Oncology getting a investment from Pfizer today, so interesting move for them here in the pre-market. Back to the 7. This is obviously not a strong stock, very weak on the daily chart. This is $7. Just marked off kind of the mid-range or midpoint of this giant range on the daily chart. It also came into play if you go back a few more months. So didn't even get there in the pre-market. This is 680, and then 7's above that. So I'm going to work this all the way back to 7, guys.
There was a chance. There it was. Admittedly, I said I liked it better at the open on SEV. And again, sometimes it's preference for us in terms of pre-market trading versus trading after the open. And I tend to like on thin symbols to trade it after the open. SEV goes right back into that same price where retail came in at 7 o'clock. 49.30 or so, and is now dumped $3. So this 50 level obviously is a big one. If it can put in a lower high above this level here, this 46.25, where the real flush started as resistance, if it manages to hold that somehow, I think you might get that run at 50. Otherwise, I think we'll back off a little bit. Macy's has come back a little bit as well. I have taken some profit and probably should have taken the rest. About 3 minutes to go. I don't know. I don't really have anything decent to say about Cisco other than, not a heck of a lot. I did write down just that 52 level for the bottom here on Cisco could be worth it. I don't necessarily like those bottom breaks right at the open. Sometimes that's the same thing as could be like that jailbreak, failed break idea. I'd much rather you be testing that level after a consolidation and then a flush. But Cisco might not be top of the radar the way these others are moving. And that RAAS just came in. I didn't put in any targets for you guys. Ooh, that's a New York stock. I keep forgetting. But I'm looking at 475 off of the open, and then 450, some pre-market lows. And then it closed at 421, so that would be the ultimate target for it to give it all back.
All right. Just looking around here, watching that SEV, looking at that 50. The market's coming in right now. Cisco 54.50, 55 will short if it gets back up there. I don't think that happens today. There goes, I don't know. Shout out to Brian Buckley or whoever's on the chat here talking about NVIDIA, because there it is, right? It's right on my sticky note, buy any dips. We didn't buy any dips at all. So I'm not super happy with this, as you can tell by my mood. We called this one. I came in today, I don't know what time it was, 7, I don't know, even earlier than that. And I right away into my account. And unfortunately, I can't buy anything until 8 a.m. On my broker. I tried to buy 312s here earlier today and didn't get any of that. So it got literally denied. You have to trade at, no, it started at 8. So again, it was before then. So even if I would have came in and bought some at 8 o'clock, we could have still had 315, 316, but my order pending at 312, that's not gonna fill. And there it is, man, new all-time highs. We talked about that, cooking up profits for NVIDIA. Bye-bye. I don't know. It doesn't get any easier than that, but what are we going to do? We're not long. So with only 2 minutes to go, the NASDAQ imbalances is probably what started this. Let's wait to see here. NASDAQ, METX, okay. No, there's Lucid. Whoa, Lucid was there as a sell. I don't know where it is now. Lucid was there as a sell. I don't see too many other NASDAQ names. Billy's a sell there. We talked about some Chinese names. There's Lucid right there. So small sell, 129. Alibaba stays as a sell. Ford stays as a bid. Ford, wow, monster right there. We'll be looking at all of these. Clover as well. I want to see where that goes off the open on the NASDAQ. Clover. Yeah, see, there you go. So maybe we did base out there at 575. Let's see what happens to Clover. Good opportunity to maybe double in on some of your trades right now for Clover. So we'll wait to see where that goes here today as the NASDAQ up 0.5% and working, right? I mean, and a small little play that we've made, UiPath, is nicely in the money as well for us now, back up to $55. We'll see how that goes today. So we've rotated out and back into some of that lately. CEI is a mover as well. So I don't know, lots to look at here off the open. We'll wait to see what happens here.
Yeah, 154 was the level on CEI, the top yesterday, and then 165, I think, is that 50-period moving average. Just got some of our RAAS out there. I'm just going to call it RAS or something like that as it heads back into the downside. And then a big mover in opposite directions, NVIDIA 325. Rivian back down to 137 testing lows, and SEV right back down into 43. So already a couple of extensive pops and drops on SEV. This is probably the highest probability to halt one way or the other off the open. So, do we tread lightly? Watch out for those 10% moves right away. Miss V is on the bell. She's in the green. NVIDIA is probably given us cause to believe in the market holding up green today, but there was that pullback that Sean just noted. Going to be watching SEV and Rivian off the open, NVIDIA, and of course Macy's.
All right.
3, 2. Why are we not? Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
It didn't work. I hit the. That was weird. I swear I hit it, and then all of a sudden it didn't go.
All right, let's see what happens here. Macy's back downside. We'll see where that goes here. As I said, I think this is a profit-taking name. I'm going to wait for that to see where we go here. NVIDIA opens up to the market and just continues to make a move higher, 324 and change. Coming back in now, we'll take a 319 bid and see if we can hold that. But right now, that's what I'm looking at here for that name, and that is NVIDIA looking for a 319 bid just to see if it can hold that level.
Yeah, and SEV, I almost said RAS. SEV pumping back up to 45. Now looking at that this 46.25 level from before. If it cannot get through this, I mean, obviously 50 is going to be the better fade, but if it rolls over at that 46.25-ish area, that would have been the first look for me to the south side. RA is going to be a bit of a reload as well. I just got out of Macy's, so first half win, second half will take the hit. It's SEV that I want to catch for this potential turn here, right at this 46.25 level.
All right, yeah, we're going to try to buy. I mean, I'm looking at that level as well there. We can see NVIDIA obviously going crazy right now. So that's going to be a name that we're watching at 319. That could come in very, very soon. Another name, obviously Alibaba was one that we looked at earlier. I'm still not into anything right now, so we'll have to wait on it. Alibaba's still not even open yet on the New York, so you can see no real levels happening yet on Alibaba. That's going to open SEV. Good call there. That's up to 47-ish. That's a good look there. I did want to look back at Macy's, 34.62, bouncing right now off VWAP. Possible dip buy opportunity for Macy's, although I think this is just way overextended, so I don't want to get myself into that one. NEO coming down, CEI coming down. I don't know. I'm not into anything yet. Nothing's hitting any levels for me.
Yeah, and just finally got maybe a decision point here on this SEV. Now, obviously, I'm going to like that 50 a little bit better, but it failed a couple of times right around that range that we like, so I did take that shot there in front of 40, 46, and 47, and it could end up working out because it's right back at 46, but I had to follow my rules. There it is. I mean, the second, I literally just got out of that short, and again, didn't want to fight too hard when it wasn't that 50, and it drops like $3 and could be going into a down halt, so my timing absolutely stinks with that one. Direction can be right all you want. The fade can be right twice, but I didn't get the execution I wanted. If it goes into a down halt, it should be around $41.50, so about $1 away from potential downward halt on SEV. That RAS is working nicely, and 135 is about to break. That 135 level on Rivian is about to break.
Okay, 135 on the downside there.
Downside.
Yeah, SEV.
Oh my God, I didn't even get it.
SEV obviously started to move there as well, like you just mentioned there on that one. I'm still watching Clover, not doing anything. Maybe a possible move right there. Yeah, okay, so I canceled. So just by the way, guys, I canceled the NVIDIA. I'm not long. Obviously, they're 319, but look at this, a nice little drop back in right into this 316 level for NVIDIA. So if this is going to be a try for me, it's going to be a try for me. So we're going to do it right now. We'll go along at 317 right here on NVIDIA. We'll see if we can catch this back up to 322, something like that on this name. And this is what I was talking about, guys. Let's wait to see if it can come back to any kind of level here on NVIDIA, and then we'll go from there, guys. We'll average in one more time, and we'll give it to like 315 or so, watching if this 316 holds. But hey, man, we're not screwing up right now on this name anyways. Falling down money right here. NVIDIA already $2 in the money. There it is, man. Let's go. What's up, Brandon?
Hi, IonQ, guys. Another day, another big move for IONQ, about 3 in a row. If my chart will load, there we go. Monster volume spike right off the open there. We did get above that high from late in the day yesterday. Another one that's been on a tear, guys.
Still solid. So a couple of things here. One, that we did try that 135, didn't get the fill. I'm actually still sitting on the offer on Rivian. I'll catch some on the way back up if I can get it, as it retests that 135. I did get Context Logic, which, by the way, broke that low, the all-time low at least. So short that one at 460 break, 459 we just got. And then looking, I mean, I liked NVIDIA back at like that 316 and then down at like 314 in the middle of that target range. It's starting to base out there. And of course, a firm, which we mentioned earlier, 142. I just got it in front of that level. I'll give it a tiny bit of room, like maybe like 25 to 30 cents below that 132 mark for the dip buy, because below there, you have some air for $10 lower off of their offering. So I like the bottom pick. We talked about the one level we liked on a firm. If I can catch a bounce and get a quick dollar out of it, and maybe even like 250 on the rest of the shares, I'd be happy, but relatively tight stop, because a firm, thank you, Ms. V, a firm certainly could fall. And as we speak, it already broke that 142 level.
Thank you, Miss V. Okay, so we're almost. I actually tried a Tim Hortons cappuccino this morning. It wasn't bad. Not the greatest, obviously, but not bad. Okay, so here we go. So we are now in this at 317 average. We did exactly what we said, using 315 as our bottom. We'll see if it can hold right now. NVIDIA to the moon, hopefully, here as we go. We'll see if we can get out around 320, 322. I hear roadblocks. Here we go. Man, I mean, this is another one. Let's go, man. If NVIDIA can't go upside here, we'll try to get some hot dogs to throw around now. We're 50, 70 cents, 80 cents in the money now. $2, $1.50 now in the money on NVIDIA. Let's go, NVIDIA. $2 in the money, baby. This is where we're at right now. Let's go. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, a couple other ones, guys. Long Evron, a couple people talking about this one in the pre-market. Little teeny tiny biotech. Free float on this, guys, 2.9 million shares. So heads up, 2.9 million, 55 million market cap, FDA approval for an infant heart condition. So LGVN just made a new high.
Yeah, and the other direction is going to be Rivian, guys. It just took out 133, fresh lows at 132. I think there's room to 125 on this play, like I mentioned. Every now and then you get lucky. It broke 135. I missed it, left the offer out there in case it got picked back up, and it managed to pop back to 135, and I got 134, and now actually 98 here. So we're going to see what happens, just how far it can go down. It's almost 10%. It's already SSR, by the way, because of yesterday, but 125 is that big support level here on Rivian. I think that's where it could catch a bid.
All right, there we go. Yeah, Trader Pratt and myself screaming for these longs, guys. NVIDIA, $4, Trader Pratt. $4 in the money here on NVIDIA. But again, we got to get it out. We're going to wait to see if it does go back up to these all-time highs. And there's that bid that we talked about, Mr. Brian Buckley, waiting for some bottoms, man. We talked about that 316. Remember, we gave reference to Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin for those of you watching that. And there it is, Neil, a $5 winner now. Let's go, man. The carnival, the doors are open, the gates are open, the water is warm, and here we go. Just another one for us right now. Another $5, $4 winner. We'll see if we can make it 5. Looking at some of these tops again here, if we can get them out. 322, 323. Look, yesterday I gave my AMDs were absolute monstrous, and then they started to come back in, right? Let's see what happens right now. Can we hold this for all-time highs one more time? $5 now in the money here, guys. Hope you're enjoying the show. It's been a good one.
Yeah, and SEV, by the way, that was a flush that just had to happen off of 50. It's now down to 41. We think there could be support at yesterday's close price. That's 38. Higher low already, pre-market at 39. That's the only level I want to buy in front of. I think it's almost crazy to do anything else. I took some out of that Rivian, and now looking to see if it's going to give you a chance at a reload before possibly flushing any further. It just popped back up to 130. Well, I guess it's still $1.50 in the money. It looks like it just popped up to 134.50, but it might just be a dark pool wick. It's still, yeah, you know what? My chart deceived me there. It's still actually $1.50 in the money. I thought it was coming back to about flat. So looks like Rivian is south side as well as SEV. Want to check back in on Lucid after we go to Brennan.
Sell alert on JD.com there, guys. Wow. Got above 89, then just absolutely slammed down $3 in a straight line there for JD. The one that was higher in the pre-market, guys.
Yeah, you guys want to hit the money sign? Why the hell not, man? $6 now in the money on NVIDIA and still making moves higher, guys. I hope you were able to do that. It doesn't take a lot of trades to be profitable. As you can see, we have one trade on, and we are smoking this trade today. So that, just goes to show you, man, be patient, get your trades, know what you want to do, man. Follow the sticky note. I mean, this is now $7 in the money on NVIDIA. So thanks for bringing up this in the pre-market. I may not trade anything else today. There it is, man. 322, 323. When you've been doing this for this long, you pick some of these winners and you got to let them ride. And I want to shout out to my friend Arun here. Has made me a much better trader, being able to hold some of these. I don't know if we're going to get out at 325 or what here, but NVIDIA just keeps on moving to the upside. Now $7, $8 in the money now on NVIDIA, and just continues to rock and roll. Nothing else is hitting for me, so I'm just going to keep on. Guys, this is an absolute rocket ship, man. We called this play, NVIDIA. Unfortunately, I would have bought in my own account as well down here. Look at that. See you 325. Was nice knowing you. There's some big size there at 325. What a monster for us here on NVIDIA, man. $7, $8 now in the money. What's up, Randy? $9 now in the money on NVIDIA, man. Hey, let's go. Prad, myself, Neil, we're killing this. Let's go, guys. Big time movement on the day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really focused on two things here. One's going to be context logic, but triple bottom on Alibaba. Got nothing nice to say about it. 10% to the downside and 145 in play on Alibaba. This is going to be a break of the low of the day, guys, and Alibaba's got to be one that we got to watch here. And SEV getting very close to that $40 level. If it breaks 40 and cannot hold 38, I'm anticipating a halt down on SEV, guys. It was so great yesterday, but the action is the other way today. And you can't ignore the fact that people are going to want to take profit. It's a very, very small issue. Come on, load, load, load. Thank you very much. So if it does manage to hold 40, I'm looking for one long and one long only. If 38 cannot hold, it's got to be an out on this stock. But it was a bit of a missed opportunity on the short side of the trade. I did take it, but at the end of the day, it was a fade off 50 even. I hope people just at least didn't get trapped buying this one near the top, because that was an abject disaster if you did, Brendo.
Lithium America, big mover here so far this morning as well. They picked up this Argentina-focused and based Millennial Lithium Corporation, $400 million in stock. So LAC off to the races here, 7%, guys.
Correct. Was that acquisition yesterday? You can confirm that, Brendan, because I would swear I saw that news yesterday. So 38 going to come into play here on SEV. I have not gotten Alibaba yet, but watching this 38 level from yesterday's close, this is the current low at 38.77. If it goes into a halt state on SEV, I am looking to short it, but I do want to cover this one in front of 38. I only want to risk $2 here, plus whatever slippage might be. So I got my target area on this stock. You know that that's not a gigantic range, $2, when you just saw this thing fall essentially $10 at the open. So I think there's room for us to get back to first 42 and then 43, 43 and a half or so. But there's no way I'm going to have an area stop with something like this. It is a hard stop at 38.
Hey guys, yeah, you guys saw me just stone cold chilling there, man. I mean, this is what trading's all about. You make that money, you sit back, you get your trades in. If you don't see anything, you don't have to trade, right? And so right now, I mean, we're monstrous on NVIDIA. So it's been a great call for us. Well, yeah, we'll look at other names, man. NVIDIA, AMD, everything like that. This is just cruising. I don't even want to buy. I'm just going to hold this, see what happens on this name. But you do have to have some targets to get out. So, I mean, what the hell? Look at Roblox, man. I'm like, this is another thing. Like, I'm loving everything right now. Like, this has just been such a wild ride up here, man. Now, 135 for Roblox. Like, are you even kidding me right now? This is a double for me in a week on a monster name. So, like, what a great movement that's been there for Roblox. Just a monster move. We'll see if we can buy some back. I don't know where, but at some point we'll be buying some back on that one. You know what? I don't know. Where are we going to get out of this NVIDIA, guys? Like, I mean, I've already seen it go up here a couple times and bounce. So I'm debating right here, man, maybe 322 break on the downside. We'll put in our pocket $5.50 and then just move on from it. But I don't know. I made this mistake before, maybe 321. Here it comes back in. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with this, but it's cruising right now to the upside. I think maybe getting out now isn't horrible. And then we'll wait to see what happens on the upside if we take that out, give up the $3 to get out. I don't know. They're a nice little move back upside. We'll see about getting this out at 325, maybe 324, right around here. There's nothing wrong with that. But imagine the NASDAQ actually went the other way. What the hell would NVIDIA be at right now? There's 325 right now, taking out, again, day's high on this name, an $8 winner, and we are just absolutely cruising right now. So, I mean, loving life on this side with the chip makers, but it's now bounced a couple times off 325. Let's just get out and look for something else, I'm thinking.
Tesla, I didn't see this one off the open. I mean, obviously, we're going to follow Rivian and SEV, which are moving a heck of a lot more, but Tesla drops through 1100, down to 1090, then right back up. So a monster recovery there for Tesla, and now screaming once again to the upside. I'll give you the 15 minutes so you can quickly see here. 1115, no, forget about it. 1120, yesterday's high. That's a breakout level for Tesla here. I'm starting to get out of some of that SEV. Covered at 41, going to cover at 42.5, going to cover at 44 to 44.5 as well, and then continue to buy those dips. But Tesla on a monster comeback trail there, so it makes me want to hold on to the EV names long. Rivian, I'm not really covering that short just yet. It has to get back to like a 135.50. Was that Brendan?
Macy's got rid of all the sellers, guys. Back to highs. Just took out the initial spike there through 36. 52-week highs now for M.
Yeah, wow, that was a good, I mean, we were looking at buying some dips. I don't think it got down as low. I mean, here we go, and NVIDIA day's high again right now, taking that out. So I might have to look at that. Wow, yeah, good move, man. We had our bid back down to 32. It goes as low as 33.50. Should have taken some advantage of that long right there on Macy's. Wow, just rip city on that. All right, this is just tested too high now. I think we could probably get this out right here, right now on NVIDIA. It's a big move up. We've stalled around that 325. I don't know why it's stalled up there. So, I mean, it's not really stalling, is it? It's up 11%, this name. And we are now $8 in the money on this. But we've stopped at 326. I think this is a decent level. Maybe we'll just get some out right now on this one if we can. And there it is right there to end our trade on NVIDIA. $7 change right there on that trade. Yeah, $77.15 out right there, 323. We played a 324 break, got out of that one. So there we go. That's your trade of the day right there on NVIDIA. But again, an easy call. We called that one just like that. Macy's was a good call on the dip buy, but we'll just have to see where we go from here on all of these names, guys. But thank you for watching one more time. And there it is. Whether or not you want to trade the rest of the day or not is up to you. But Macy's still making some moves. Clover trying to find a bottom. We're going to look at that again. Macy's, wow, 36.25. Roblox 135. These stocks are going nuts. Dollarama down 0.2. Shout out to Raheem on that one. And there we go. There's the out on NVIDIA. Let's see where we go from here. We'll tweet that out so you guys can see some of those levels.
Just going to quickly pay for some locates on BIMI. I see you guys talking about it in the chat. It is getting to $1, and any penny stock that goes to $1. We traded this one at least a few sessions ago, I want to say, and want to come back over to it because mover is a mover. But just keep in mind, it's already put in a break and fail through $1 a couple of times. But last time we crushed it off $1. It failed yesterday at $1. We're going to go back to that same well here today. It's about 98 cents right now, the current high. If it breaks $1, I want to get out and then re-hunt for that thing at about 105. Like I said, I'm still hanging on to that Rivian. It's back to 132.5, so 250 in the money on that one again. And then that 38 level being put to test on SEV. I have trimmed some and then gotten back into it. So there you go. I did trim some at 41 and then got back in at a better price. Tighter to that 38 level. There's no way I want to hold through that one. Rivian will hold. Context Logic will hold on to. And let's see if I can't get into that BIMI. Brendo?
Just had an alert on Boeing there, guys. Taking out or testing at least the pre-market highs above 231 there. You can see huge volume spike came in through 231. A couple of new deals recently for Boeing, guys, starting to go.
Oh, man. I was just looking at SEV down to 37, man. Like, wow. We were waiting for that 50.
There's that 38 level. Why isn't it
That didn't come through. Okay, so far so good on our out on NVIDIA. I feel like that's not going to be a good out at some point, even right now, maybe even, although we did get out higher than this. But I don't know. That's going to be a name that's going to be interesting. And I cannot believe also, I mean, I can believe it because we're long these names and we've been long for a long time on this. AMD, man, 158. right now. Like, wow, man, we are way oversized on that position, but that's a good thing, and nothing to complain about on that as it continues to make moves to the upside. Some other names on our board here today. Alibaba, we weren't able to get into that. I just wish I would have shorted it off the open, but oh, it did open up. Okay, so it did go to 145. The open was 148, so that's a nice move down. It looks like we're trying to cross through VWAP right now. This could be an interesting buy actually right here now on Alibaba. See if that's making a move back to the upside. Clover still holding those lows as well.
So it has not halted, but I mean, I still thought it was a high probability that it would. We did take some profit in SEV. When 38 broke, that was a hard stop. Was able to get 37.75, so actually not that much slippage on the reversal there, which is surprising given liquidity in this stock. Already took some out for the buck. You're going to look for $2 in the rest, and then, well, sorry, $2 in the next leg, and then try to hold on to the rest, see how far it can go. I am still in context logic. That for me, that's just a short. I mean, back towards that 475 where the whole move started. I did miss an opportunity to catch another curl at 465, but they got the downgrade. This is on the daily, guys. This is an all-time low break as well for context logic. I'm not even taking anything out till it gets to 450, and then probably between 25 and 425 and 450, another leg out there. And then Rivian continues to, well, forget about that. I mean, the daily chart's not going to tell you anything. Rivian continues to flush. I got a bid in front of 130. 135 to 130, 130 to 125 are the plays for me on Rivian, and then we'll see how far this one can go. Still, look, don't get me wrong, like we are shorted and looking at, you know what, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Let me get out in the 70s if I can.
Look
at I think it's a great potential story here for Rivian, but it came so far that the sell-off the last couple of days I think should have been at least a little bit anticipated.
Oh man, I mean, we didn't screw anything up today. Well, we're in one trade. We don't generally screw anything up, but Nvidia here, you know, not super happy, obviously, as we witness what's happening with Nvidia now 326 now, and just making more moves to the high side right now. Goes Nvidia. So wow, what a great mover that's been there. NVDA, as you guys can see, the move continues there up to 326. What's up, B?
Ooh, a T. Wow, yeah, Nvidia, man, that's a huge move. SPI, guys, down 8%. We talked about this one yesterday. A big gap to the upside above 7 yesterday. Gave you that move back down eventually. Another one today. I missed this, but nice move for SPI Energy.
All right, Nvidia still, man, 326, 327. Again, I said this would wind up being a bad out. We should have held this all day, but whatever. You guys know what's good, and that is Nvidia still making moves to the upside. So congratulations, anybody on that name one more time. I got out, and obviously, you know, follow me on the longs. Don't follow me on my outs as that continues to make some, monster money.
You got to take profit somewhere. Like, it's entirely possible I just got at a bad price in Rivian. I mean, maybe it does go to 125, but I am also looking for a long on Rivian at 125. So as it breaks 130, I like the idea of getting out and then trying to jump back into it. Tesla's retesting 1100, by the way, to that downside. I think if it goes, Tesla's in a, I think Rivian's in a world, sorry, if Tesla breaks that 1100, I think Rivian's in a world of trouble, not the other way around. Did I hear Brennan?
No.
My thing's like...
No, you didn't hear anybody there. That's okay. Nvidia still 327, 328. I mean, I hear my boy Prad back there. Glad to see you're killing it, man. I mean, glad everything. And someone said, like, you know, is Prad learning from us? Obviously here today, Prad, great job, man. Learning, great job today taking this Nvidia trade. And also, man, and I know Prad was looking at Roblox as well. Like, hey, Prad, man, welcome to the dark side. Now you know what it's like. This is why we do the sticky note for you. And this is why the names are the same almost every day. You got to trade what you're doing best. You can't go perfect in a month if you don't trade the best names, guys. So what's up, Brendo?
Sava Sciences trying to get back to the upside after that SEC investigation announced yesterday. Just took out or tried to take out that $50 level. Once again, 6% for Sava today.
Look at DraftKings. DraftKings down to 37 and change. Some new deals, some new things happening. We just have a note here that some director bought 50,000 shares of DraftKings right now. Probably using our money, you know, getting paid, from as a salary, putting it back into the stock. Maybe that's a good thing. We'll see. 50,000 shares is not a small buy, that's for sure. So we'll see what's happening right now with DKNG. I sold this thing at 62 bucks. I was looking to get back in near 32, 33. If you look at a daily chart right now, we're getting very, very close to that. Some people are pulling triggers at 40. We've been patient on this one and waiting. So as DraftKings falls down, I'm just hearing a lot of news from them. So I am now wondering, like, is DraftKings at a level where we could buy. Maybe we're getting a little too greedy waiting for this 35 or I mean the ultimate bottom of 32 if that can come into play. So I think greed definitely having a spot here in my life with DraftKings, and we'll just wait on that one. KSS up that 9% as well. Cisco, Lucid. Ooh, Lucid might be a nice buy down here. Down 10% today, Lucid. So, and again,
yeah, these are crashing right now. Like Tesla got to 1100, 130 is about to break. I'm re-entering at 130 on Rivian. We're getting right back up to view up that 42 level on SEV. So I'm going to add to SEV with a 42, probably 42 and a half stop. Is some of the EV names starting to come back in here, guys. And look, I actually have been adding to Context Logic short, believe it or not. I'm not really taking anything off of that one yet. Just got the Rivian break at what do we get? 129.97. Wow, good job, Day Trader World. That was a great fill.
I love that. I love how Prad gets all this love in our chat, man. That's great, guys. I mean, that's why we're putting up there the Memes and Movers show. Yeah, like I said, it's very nice to see his growth and everything. And, you know, again, just another one, someone else that we're, you know, very proud of. Bradley Pitt over there. I hope he doesn't get any movie deals, you know, Bradley Pitt there. $46. We could watch out for Lucid down at this level. Oh, sorry, I was looking at a different chart. Let me call it up for you guys. Where's my 20-minute chart? That's what I was looking at. There it is right here. So Lucid right here, back into 46. This is a level that we could talk about going long. We have these tops here at 45.60, 45.70, in and around there. So I think Lucid does have some love down in this area. But again, you know, what a move for Lucid. Like just back October 28th, so 3 or 4 weeks ago, you were down here at 27, and then you ripped up to $62 there on Lucid. So wow, a big move happening there. Macy's just hit 3-year highs right there on M. So wow, what a good name that's been, man. Macy's. Let's check out SPG. Another name that we're long, $61, something like that, as this is another mall name. We're literally, I mean, where's Daryl Flinch? Are you on this chat here? This is another name. Like, we want to talk about, you know, buying something that's way deep in the money. This was a COVID name that we were loading the crap up on, man. This was a $60 long back in COVID times, and now Simon Property Group just continues to make moves, man. I didn't even realize this was at 170. I was going to say it was at 150. Obviously, you get a big bump there. Oh yeah, that's right. Their earnings were absolutely monstrous. Here's the COVID bottoms that we're talking about. It actually made a bottom of 40, but you see this base here, and this is why I shut out Daryl, because he and I were buying JP Morgan at 80 and buying SPG here at 60. So, I mean, that was a monster play all the way to the upside. That's why we're talking about, you know, when there's blood in the streets, sometimes you got to go over, find the high quality names, and just buy them and close your eyes, understand what your time frame is. But there's another monster winner, SPG, and it just brings me to Macy's, because again, just in the retail space, these are hot. We've seen Walmart falter, we've seen Target falter just on earnings. They're still very great stocks, but Macy's here today, again, like my charts aren't changing. Macy's today just ripped Citi up to 37, probably a fading spot now, but I don't know if you want to get underneath this stock, because again, kind of a meme mover, 15% short. They love this name. Roblox up another 9%. Probably gonna, I don't know, I want to get out of some of that, but is that the wise thing to do? Rivian down 12 right now.
And that Beamy stock, I did get in and out of that one that's actually pretty quickly. Like, we got 98s. It took out that $101. We actually slipped to 101, which is going to happen because there's no midpoint. Well, not a lot of liquidity at the midpoint that you can see. It did get up to that 107. Now you're seeing a retest back to 1 even, with the whole theory that resistance turns into support and vice versa. I like the long in front of 1, at least temporarily. Rivian continues, we're flat on that SEV trade, but that stock, it's going to move $1 or $2 in either direction. And I don't think, you know, until it puts in a bigger move than that, it's not going to be worth, you know, looking at too much of anything. Rivian, if we do get to 127 or so, that's when I want to start getting out of this and start thinking about that 125 long idea, because, you know, at some point I do think it's going to catch a turn. The market did go downside there in the ES, but the NASDAQ getting a bit of a bounce. Is Tesla also back above 1100 if you're tracking that name. Gonna hop on the bid here. If I can get 101 some and then maybe a little bit of the buck on BMI, if for those of you that are watching, there isn't a heck of a lot on the bid at $1. If it was a monster bid, I would obviously take a few more shares and then just hit that level if it was going through. Instead, I would play it a little bit more conservatively, because not a huge bid on BIMI if you're watching that dollar level.
All right, so we're gonna take a little bit more here. We took a little bit of a bid there on Clover, and again, you know, it hasn't really based out, but we were thinking that we may have had a base there at 70. So we did take that bid. We just took some more 66s. Now I'm gonna give this back. I mean, now that we just saw that dip down, I don't know if we've made a base or not. So we'll have to give this one to 550 now. I don't know if, I mean, I don't even know if 550 is right. Maybe 560. Let's see, is there any size here? We're just playing with house money now due to NVIDIA. But yeah, look at this thing, man. Okay, here you go. So you do have NASDAQ just following this thing down. So you can either smack this when it's gone, or you just kind of got to wait for this to be exhausted. So we'll wait right now. We don't have any other choice. So we'll wait to see this thing fall down. The minute it starts to go up, we'll spank it one last time, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I'm not going to buy any more of this until, there it goes. See, NASDAQ just took that down 4 pennies. Look at this. It's following it down right now on Clover. So we're going to wait for that to be gone at some point. So I got to see like 70, 80,000 shares come off here. And then we'll go. Did it just come off right there? We might have just missed it there as we were looking. So I don't know. We'll have to wait for it. But I think the buy pressure sell pressure may have been gone now. There's someone on MEMX here on Clover. So we're long at 68. So out of the money, 6 pennies right now on Clover. Going to give this one back to 50. Just see if that sell pressure is over with. But who knows, man? This stock continues to get
Before we go to Brendan here, just Jude, you're asking there, is there a buyer or a dark pool on 128 at Rivian? I didn't see a dark pool. There was definitely a lot of buy action at that price. So someone was serious about holding 128. I'm not covering it until it gets back above 130.50. If it does make a second bounce with just as much buy action, I'd probably cover in front of 128, but I'm not willing to go long just yet. I didn't see anything obvious, but certainly there was a decent buyer that was not a size buyer on level 2. Brendan is he's ready. It's 10 o'clock, time for Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at how things are going. Positive right now, all thanks to the NASDAQ there. You can see the 100, the big ones, leading the way here, 0.5% to the upside. The composite, 0.15. The Dow is red, 0.3. A lot of big names back in negative territory on the Dow. So lagging a little bit. The S&P 500 still kind of chopping around. Was break even at one point, now up about 0.1. A few things we were talking about in the pre-market here. Monster volume, guys, on Alibaba, and it's all on the sell side. Just cannot get out of its own way. Just tried to make a day low as we speak right now, down 10% on the day for Alibaba. JD.com, huge sell pressure off the open. We came all the way back into some pre-market levels, bounced significantly right back to where we started, guys. For JD, back to you.
Yeah, so the second short, the first short's probably the best one. Like I said, we probably got out of that one too early on Rivian. The second short at 130, it does give you that 128, and then I just got out. I said if it broke 130.50, I would get out of it, so I just did. 125 still remains a target price for an exit point there. For an entry point, for any long, 125 is what I'm looking at. I just took the first leg off of Wish. Now in front of 450, like we said. And again, context logic with both a downgrade and an all-time low break to the downside. And once that happened, it's like, the writing's on the wall for this stock. So we just took the initial break. I missed a chance to add to it at the 65 range, which stinks, but it is what it is. Going to continue to get some out, and then it just took 20% out. Now 450 breaks. I'm looking 45. I'm looking at in front of 440 even, and then from there, just back to those quarters. Looks like we might have just got shaken on Rivian, shaken not stirred. 125, well within sights as Rivian continues to fall down 12% now. Should be looking at Lucid as well.
Yeah, and our Clover just continues there. We're long Rivian now, 128. We'll see if we can get that going through to the upside there with the downside of whatever the day low is on that name. Rivian right now. Clover, so we're long at 67. Let's see where we go from here. We do have our stop through 50. We'll see if that can do anything back up to that upside. And then again, we're chilling with Rivian. We'll try it here. If it can get back to 130, that'd be great. The bottom of the day is 127, so we'll give this to like a 126 break or so on Rivian. But right now, Clover is, I do have some shares on this as we've averaged into it. Just made a bottom there, maybe at 55. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. So we'll take one more position at 50, like maybe even right around here. If it comes back down to 55 or so, we could take a spot on that, but we'll have to wait on Clover now, as maybe that's the bottom. We can give it to 50 to see. I don't know if I can see any size here. Yeah, there is. So there was a little bit of, I don't know, there it is. It doesn't matter, it's going upside now, but there was a little bit of size on Rivian there at 50. Not enough to like get me too excited, but so far so good on this moving downside. Let's see if we can withhold both Clover and Rivian moving down here.
Yeah, and Alibaba, which a bit of a miss, of course, obviously shorting just any price, but certainly if he can break this double bottom here, 140, broke 145 on a kind of a failed break, and a second chance here, 144.80s as far as it went. So a bit of a failed break the first time. The second time, if it takes that same low, then I guess you can't really call it a failed break. I'm going to jump into this one. Somehow, for the first time, as Rivian bounces a little bit, I said we'd look at NASDAQ. I said we'd look at Lucid. If you get it wrong the first time and type in that,
you're done.
You're done. Lucid now bouncing off of 46.60. It might look a little bit more, I guess, appealing for Lucid here at 46.50. That was, I mean, the start of this run here that got up to 62 had a support at 46.50 as it kind of falls in here. So as I watch Rivian bouncing off of these levels, Lucid a decent chance off this 46.50 to sort of follow suit. I'd give it to that level for an out, not necessarily the current low of the day, throw that out the window and go back to that 46.50 level.
Yeah, we took out a piece there for $1.50 on Rivian there, as it just went back up to 130 there. We did take a small cut on the first 130 break back to the downside. So trying to make some money back here on that name. Amazon up 1.4%. Apple up again, man, up another 0.5% today to 154.20. Roblox not stopping. Wow, Roblox, like talk about not stopping. Like, I can't believe I even got out of some of this at 110 the other day. We're long at 77, and I believe in the name, but I think it's obviously a little bit overheated here as we've gone pretty parabolic on Roblox. This was the call down there, and this is what it's done since then. So, wow, a double up in a week on Roblox. Absolutely amazing, just off of a good earnings call, a great quarter, I guess, and a great call. But a big move up for Rivian, for Roblox, and hopefully for Rivian as well. I need Rivian to take out that 130, guys. I'm not even offering anything until it does that. A quick check back in on Ford quickly. So just bouncing around 20 bucks. We've said it's been a sell every time when Ford's gone to 20 bucks. Looks like that's going to be probably true today. Did we make a high there today of? Nah, that's wrong. Okay, I was going to say, I don't think we broke through 2050 there, but 2025, a nice high there on that name. Wow. Let's take one more shot here and see if that 555 holds on Clover. But if it doesn't, then we'll give it down to 50, and then we'll just get removed out of our position if that does not hold. We're still waiting for SG coming through today on an IPO, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And don't sleep, like I said, don't sleep on these IPOs. I got into the Alibaba that broke the low as well. Relatively tight stop. It was a failed break the first time, and you're not shorting it on a pop, which I prefer to do. I'm shorting it here off of the low of the day. So I want to give it maybe back to like 145.65-ish for a stop area. And if it does start to work in the money, we can consider 144, those evens, all the kind of good stuff, and for those support levels. Now, back to Lucid here. This time I actually get it right. It's a NASDAQ stock. The first cluster on the dip, the first time at 46.60, took you right to this 47.25, which, I mean, 47.25, and I just put my offer at 33 instead of 23 in front of the quarter. So rectify that mistake. At first leg out here in front of that level. Then I'm going to look for 47, about 60 to 75, where this little wick went to, and then up to VWAP here, and then see if I can't hang on to the rest with Lucid. The entire theory being, I mean, you'd already bounced in Rivian. I'm like, we got to look at Lucid here. And then Lucid was holding the bottom. So on the idea that these are often correlated, you go back and was able to find a similar level for support right below that low of the day at that 46.5. So quickly we're able to sort of ascertain where we can get into this one, where our stop would be, and then where we can look to get out at some of these clusters from before. Like I said, I'm going to hold on to context logic. I kind of feel like if I'm not still short Wish, at the end of the day, like when we come back at 3 o'clock, if I don't still have at least a little bit of Wish left, that means it went all the way to $4. Which, I mean, obviously it hasn't happened yet. But if it goes to $4, I would be all flat. I would definitely take some out on the way to the quarters, and then just sort of put those stink bids in all the way down here on context logic. And again, I know it feels like we beat up on this stock, but at the end of the day, we don't know anybody that has good anecdotal stories about them, and the momentum is what it is. And a lot of times, you have to make a wipeout bottom for these things to find a bottom. So it hasn't looked like it's happened yet. Look at how many times it's made shallow moves trying to bounce back up and squeeze shorts, hit the 50 period and die. It does that over and over again until it coils, and then you get essentially a breakdown, right? The reverse of a coil and breakout, you're getting a coil and a potential breakdown here in context logic. So the second I saw it, it wasn't even on my radar until Brendan showed it on the upgrades and downgrades. I looked at the chart and said, that seems like an easy money trade.
Yeah, I mean, to me, so I mean that's a good easy money trade. The other one was obviously any sort of a dip buy on Nvidia as well was a cash there. It went right back into the, not only was the dip buy so good, it goes right into the level that we talked about, 316, which was an unbelievable. I'm so glad that I dipped it in. Like our first bid was 317.50, and then we were able to get a 316.50 or something, and then we cleaned that out at 324. First out 319.50, so a couple bucks there. You could see what we're doing on that. I'm debating right now. This is a nice win for us. I was hoping that we'd get back to VWAP here on Rivian. I mean, I still think that could happen. We're only $1 away from getting out, getting out to the next part. We got out of the first third for $2 or $3, and then now we're obviously in the money here on this last part. $3 now in the money off of a 128 long. So we're just bouncing off here near that 131. Debating getting it out now because all I'm waiting for is really just like one more dollar up to 132. So you know what? Let's take a piece out if we can right now in the 80s. I don't know. Maybe we just missed our opportunity, but we'll see if we can get this out in the 80s now. Back to the upside again. We got to take $3. I mean, if we can get $3 on this, then we'll take it and then we'll hold that last piece here for that move back up. And if we fail here through 130, we're going to get out as well. So we'll put in a get me. We're at 80 right now. Oh man, like that was again so damn close to getting out there at that level. Looks like we might have got missed one more time. Maybe I'll just take an offer right now on this and see if we get 41s or 42s here. So now I'm offering 41s in. I don't know if it's going to go upside, but there it is. Oh, go. Still not printed us. So there, whole bunch of dark pools got filled there at 41. Not us.
This is not me jinxing it.
Yeah, that's okay.
This is me shouting out, and I'll give a fist bump, and I think it's the appropriate one. William, thank you for the super chat. 1330, where does the number come from? Saying thank you, AMD and Alibaba. You're going to give 1% of your P&L every single trading day. We appreciate it. At the end of the day, we don't ask for it, but we absolutely love it that you guys are able to learn from some of this. And William, you've been watching for a while, and we love that anybody can sort of take advantage of. Because you know what? I didn't get Alibaba where I think I would have wanted to. Admittedly, I think we can both probably say that, but I don't think we have anything good to say about it in terms of price action today. It is what it is, but you don't always catch every single trade. SEV is starting to get towards these prices, which can be a little bit important. Every time it tests this 38, I'll take a little bit out and then try to rinse and repeat in front of 41 to 42. And then this area is what I'm trying to capture. And I don't like the 1 minute chart because it moves so much. I'm on the 15 minute here. This is what I'm trying to capture. The last hour of the day when it broke that 35 into that 38 level, and then everything else was after the close. So that last cluster is where I want to be taking profit all the way down to 35. So essentially shorting 39.40. If I can get some 41s, sure, why not? Giving it to 42.5, so about $2.50 worth of risk to try to capture a $5 target area on SEV. Looks like Lucid is going to give up the ghost here. I mean, I am short SEV and long Lucid, but Lucid was more of a bottom pick because of what I saw happening in Rivian. Now it's retesting that low. Brendo?
Pressure on Teladoc today on the way down here, 5.7%. Just making a day low. In fact, we're clearing some significant levels on the daily chart for Teladoc. Apparently, they have guided their initial full year 2020 revenue between 2.6 billion versus a prior 2.57. So there was an increase there, but smaller than expected. Investor Day apparently as well for TDoc, guys.
And you see what happens when you get a little bit greedy there? I was talking about Rivian waiting for that 132, and then it was like 131, and it was like, you know what? Yeah, we missed it, and there we go. Punished right there on Rivian for missing that out, and I should just marketed it out instead of waiting. We missed it by what was it, 3 cents? You saw me right there. We were sitting there at 138 180, right? And it went to 130.70 or whatever it was. So we missed that by a couple pennies, and that's going to happen sometimes to you. So, and it happened to me right now. We're going to get out if it breaks back down through the low of the day here, which unfortunately is just 127. But hey, man, you know, we're still positive today, and we just missed that out. Damn it, that would have been a great one.
Exactly the same thing happened on Lucid, obviously. I mean, we were showing, I guess, charts that look pretty similar. By the way, on the daily chart, I was just looking at Teledoc. Some support on Teledoc if it gets down to 120 anyways. That's just a different name there. I reversed 46.50 was the level that we looked at on the higher time frame. Now I'm all short, man. The market's coming down here. I tried the long in Lucid. You know, we tried a long back there in Beamy when it tried to hold up, and you know now Lucid has taken out that 46.50 level that we're looking at before right back here. So that's a reversal for me. I've already scalped a little bit out. Then I'm going to look for 45, which holds up right here, and then probably 43. Look, you just can't fight these things forever. That's the way that it goes. And I kind of wish I felt. What's the difference? I think why I felt like SEV was give it room and just hold that bad boy as opposed to Rivian and Lucid was that in the back of my mind I like the Rivian 125 for buy support, and I don't really have anywhere in SEV that I'm like, oh, I'd want to be long on this stock at some point. I just don't have that level, and that's probably the reason why it's just like, nah, it has to actually break like $3 or something like that for me to get out of it. Now it's starting to really work to the downside. I'm still holding half the position as it craters to 35, but that's sort of intentional. If I was willing to risk $2.50, then I should have at least half the position when it goes, well, okay, sorry, it's now $4 in the money, but when it goes 2.5, I'll get some more out in front of, I should be getting more out in front of 36, which should hit, why am I not, 35 I should say, which should hit any second, there we go. And then now I'm just gonna hang on for dear life. Somehow the stock has not halted to the downside. If it does, because I'm in position, I wanna hold through a halt as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, good. I mean, great short there on that name. And I mean, crypto is absolutely crashing as well right now.
Seriously?
Rivian, yeah, Bitcoin's at 57. I don't know. Here, hold on a second. No, 50.
Oh,
Sorry, it was
Binance
Ether down to
crashed again.
41 right now. Crypto right here on a 1 minute chart. You can see Bitcoin. Let's go 1 minute chart. Again, all the charts, not even just ours. There it is right there. Yeah, so you can see right here a little bit of a move down here to 58, breaking that 58.8. But these have been levels that have been bought up before, so you can watch out for some of these. We know Mara's on a SEC band.
No word of a lie, Sean. I thought Bitcoin was holding those levels the whole time because my Binance had frozen, and it was like, I'm looking at just the tab, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's holding this price the whole way. I'm like,
I mean,
what a good level. And then I refresh the chart, and it's like, oh no, it's broken down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thanks once again for those Binance charts. Whatever. I always complain about it, but then don't switch to something else. Brendo?
That's the thing.
VOSO, some SPAC action for you. VOSO up 25%, big volume coming in at day highs here through 1250. Guys, they're taking this WEJO, W-E-J-O, public through a merger. So that was out aftermarket yesterday for VOSO.
Market's getting whacked, man.
Yeah, right now the market's getting hit a little bit. I mean, this happens on these days, guys. Like some days you just get some big earnings reports coming out, new all-time highs, things like that. It kind of reminds me of our friend Apple. Like when Apple makes new highs, generally that's kind of like a bellwether for the market, and then we all kind of pull back just a little bit right there. We did take Ethereum here on a bid, and now enjoying a little bit of a run up. We just talked about Bitcoin, let it fall down, ETHE back to 70 right now, so that's going to be a good call for us to get some out if we can on that one. Clover still just hovering around these levels that we've talked about over and over again. No idea where we go from here.
I gotta hit this one.
Right now, Clover up to 58. So we're going to hold down to 58. We're going to hold this right now. We are long 53, or sorry, not 53s. We're long 65s on Clover. Let's see if we get a bounce.
Yeah, I mean, I'm short basically everything now because I haven't, no longs have worked out. Tried to bounce on Lucid, didn't work. Tried to bounce on Beamy, like I said. First leg out of Alibaba there is it touches 143. There was a size, by the way, this time there was a size buyer and a refresher at 143 even, and I just got out at 02s. Like once I saw it hold a couple times, I'll just cross out and get 02s. I want to hang on to this. And again, I mean, I'm not happy over the fact that I'm just essentially bag holding this. There was a good point like a few weeks ago where I even said to myself, JD is a much better momentum play for that type of thing, and I just didn't rotate from one to the other. Alibaba, if you look recently, it has this 138 level that is in play. I'll be out if it gets to 140 for sure. Context logic, I mean, whatever, who cares? That's just still going down. I've been ignoring RAAS on our watch list, but whoops, that's a New York stock. I mean, these four-letter symbols, they should be NASDAQ. RAS, I just got another fill at 455. I was able to reload at 485 in front of $5. This could be another one of those small caps. Just hold on to it for dear life. And if you start thinking about like where to buy these dips, I'm looking over at Tesla here. Another fresh low at 1,085. It's got that 1080 level that was key before. So as the market is crushing to the down, well, I mean, not crushing. It's not that bad.
Kind of is. I mean, it's.
You know what? It's not as bad as I think.
Not bad on the daily.
Because my scaling looks really. I just rescaled my ES chart. And it doesn't really look that bad. So Tesla 1080, I think, is a decent level for that. Lucid just got to 46 and bounced again. I have covered some of this trade to the short side at 46.50. One time at 46. I have a bid in front of 45.5. If it breaks this level, I do think decent chance it takes out that next 50 cents down. But at some point, you got to be able to cover these trades, except for context logic. That one I'm holding on to.
Yeah, I think that right now there is a possibility here to get NVIDIA back through 321. So we'll see if it breaks out. I want to break a little bit more than this. The high rate here is 320.65 or so. 321. Let's call it 321. We'll wait for a little bit higher, 321.25 or so, if it does get back up. I mean, you could bottom pick this thing right now and probably be fine. So that's another play right here if you take it in. I just don't want to, again, because I'd probably get out. Like if I go long right now, my out's gonna have to be like 315-ish, and to lose $3 there. At least if I go long with momentum breaking to the upside, then I can use some of these bottoms as my out, which is the same $3 risk, but I have momentum hopefully to help me carry this trade through. So that's what we're going to be looking at right now is NVIDIA breaking through 321.50 or so. So here it comes. Nice little move back to the upside. We just talked about the market, maybe a little overdone to the downside right there. So now we'll give this a shot. It's getting very, very close to punching one more time into NVIDIA and see what we can do. We're up monstrous on this name already. We don't want to give it back. So if we do get long there, we're going to use that bottom wick or, maybe 317, something like that to get out. It will hold a little bit in case that happens, but we don't want to be in this for too long if it does break back down below. So even this 321 take, we might even just give this back to like 319 if we get long. We don't want to give this all back, but so far so good there. And then we do have SG coming to market today as well. That should be another hot IPO.
I got you.
As SV's been going as well.
Yes, and someone asked earlier, when do IPOs open? And I just, somewhere usually between 10:30 and 1 o'clock. That's the best answer we can give. Hunter asking indicative open on LGVM, which is halted. I'm seeing a tap of 637 right now. And then if I look at the locator, come on, mine's not. I'm seeing 10,000 shares, about 10,000 shares on the buy side. Which a lot of times for these stocks, it's a very, very tiny imbalance on the reopen, so ignore that. Sometimes it doesn't matter. It's more about the direction, but it is a current buy imbalance. Indicative price 637 I'm seeing for this LGVN, which has halted 5 minutes, so should be open up in about 1 minute there, guys. So we have no problems answering those. And you know what? It was a lot easier. I probably would have missed that, Hunter, if it wasn't for the super chat. But we try to get to them as much as possible. I missed out on this halt, obviously because I'm not in it, but should be interesting on the reopen. I think Brendan for sure gave you guys this name, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
LGV, I'm not sure, but probably. So good, thanks for asking that question. Clover back to flat right now for us. For me, really, everything's been good today. That's why we don't take a look at that. That's why we don't take that break there on NVIDIA. I'm actually going to cancel it right now and make sure I don't have any. Looks like I'm going to get an opportunity to load this up after the show here today. So my Roblox, that was a nice story there. My Roblox offers at 137.50. Okay, so obviously I can't believe this is a New York name. Obviously that's come and gone now, but there you go. It was 137.50 right in here. We miss it on the way down. There was a little bit of a blip there that we could have got the short. There it is coming back in, man. That was a great out. Great in at 137.50. This would be a good out at 130. Oh, wow. But right now, Roblox coming way back in there. Just overextended once again, man. We talked about that. Like I wanted to get, we can't get out of any when we're here on the show, but that would have been a great out up there at 138, 139. Hopefully we get back up there and I can sell some. Roblox still up 6%. So let's not worry about our long 77, but it is coming back a little bit here, obviously on the day. I don't mind getting some Lucid here, maybe for the long term. We're back at 46 right now for Lucid, so that's another.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's another name here. that's reaching some spots that might be of concern for us. Let's go lucid chart.
Someone's buying this level as well. Just to
Yeah,
say
because that
quickly,
makes sense.
It's broken a few times and just sort of come right back in. And it's like, I actually covered some more of the 46 half short at 46 because someone's just buying it up. Every time it gets down to 91, 92, it's like bam, right back up to the evens. Someone just said, look at Upstart. Oh wow, look at Upstart. Yeah, so we were shorting resistance here at 270. I remember that pretty clearly. But this entire range since the gap down on Upstart has had a hard bottom at 227.5, which we're retesting right now. If that doesn't hold, look out below on Upstart, as there is room down to like a 190. That is a screaming buy. If it even sniffs 190 to 200 on Upstart. And this is the level that has to go before it happens. But look at it coil up at this level. This stock is almost down a full 50% from highs. Brendan's at the big screen, ready to talk small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning, lots to look at. Let's jump right into this RAAS. Simply weak stocks are weak stocks until they're not weak stocks. So this one up on positive news this morning, but retracing right from 8 o'clock on, really. It gave you a clear sign of that break of 5 on the way down. Really doesn't ever test. There was a quick test off the open there of 5, but nothing but downside since then. Breaking 450 as we speak for this RAAS. We'll move on to Cardiff. Talked about that one right before the open. One and done for me on this one. The breakdown, short the pop into 560 for CRDF. Trying to bounce right now, but volume already drying up. Wanted to mention Lucid because I know I'm going to probably regret this trade at the end of the day today, but failed at 50. That was all you need to know. So short in front of 50 on any kind of bounce. Once that fail happened, took that off into 47. But yeah, we're at what now? 46. So like I said, probably going to regret that one later, guys. Back to you.
You ain't wrong.
I regret a lot of things right now. I mean, I'm sitting here short at 41 on SEV, and that stock is now at 34 and at 34.50.
No regrets.
I consider that is a monumental fail because I came in wanting to short the 50 level. I then lost on a 46 half short. I lost money short 46 half on SEV. It's at 34.50. I might be up on it today, and it might be my best stock P&L wise, but to me, that is a fail because I missed the initial short. I missed my short that I wanted the most, which would have hit. I then bungled the short that I got off the open, which would have been a monster. And then you stick to it and you kind of do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, you'll see me like dwell on this kind of a thing here. And I was saying to Sean, the other thing too is like context logic. That short should have been like 10x because I just feel when something like that breaks the level like that, it's sort of a capitulation and there won't be buyers because everyone's waiting to be patient to catch a bit of a bottom instead of stepping in front of that falling. So PayPal, by the way, that just ticked in 201 double bottom here in front of 200 on PayPal. So that's been a gorgeous level before. So I think you rinse and repeat. I'm looking for somewhere to go long. And an old favorite just sort of came back in here. I just happened to notice it there on my quote board back at 201. 200, I think we give this one to.
I like that. Old favorites. Old favorites always coming back to sometimes to haunt you and sometimes do not.
We'll see.
So old favorites, good call on that one. Neil, I like that line for sure. Okay, what else do I like here? Let's have a look. So we're into PayPal now. New position alert. Obviously, you're seeing where PayPal is in relationship to a key level. You should know what key level I'm talking about because we've been all over that. And that, of course, is that I was going to say 100. Hopefully not 100, that $200 level right now coming into play again for PayPal. Obviously, when the NASDAQ gets hit like this, down goes PayPal. So here's PayPal. We'll take another bid right now. We are long right now at 2025. The way this day's been going, I'm debating taking it out for 30 cents, but we'll hold it and we'll see where we go on this one. PayPal right now making a move. Back upside. We did a buy there while Neil was, or I guess it was while Brendan and Neil came through. We are going to get a piece out here at 2. I mean, maybe I'll just take a piece out right now. I do have an offer at 201.95, but this is a nice bump up. Wasn't expecting this quick of a move here. So this might be worth taking some out here on PYPL as we just got a little bit of a bounce there.
Yeah, I just realized we don't have locates on that LGVN, Neil. Preparation is absolutely everything. Sometimes you're up a little bit too early. It's we just talked about this in the halt. I'm like, I missed the halt trade, and then 770 monster level on the daily chart. It checks up right at that 770 level, which means if it retests, you have an obvious out. I'll give it to 75 because I like that number a little bit better. And then I want to short any kind of consolidation, which is exactly what we're getting right here on LGVN. So shout out to those of you guys that pointed out. I know Brendan did. Shout out to Hunter as well for this name. It was a good halt trade. It gave you a clean, 640, I guess, and then probably at least reasonably to 7 and then 750. So that was a good hold trade. As it gets to the quarters, that's a reasonable risk. I can start a position. If it breaks 775, I want to make sure I only take a third here because I want an average price to be about 30 to 40. So I can't really nibble too deeply in the 720 range, guys. So I want to be able to add a couple of times here so that I have about a 735 price were it to break 775 there. That way I'm risking 50 cents if you consider slippage as well.
Okay, guys, the day just keeps on getting bigger and badder for me here as we're going up to 202 now and change. So took it out there at that 55 level like we talked about. Now you're ripping up to 201 and change. So my out here for PayPal, ooh, I'm at, and this just keeps happening to me, man. I'm at 202.24. It just went to 202.14. So 10 cents missed by an out right there on that name. But I do like PayPal down here. We just took some profit. We'll see where it goes. And you know what? Let's go a little bit of patience here. So I don't know, what's a patient one? We'll just do something like this. Walking a little bit on water here because our average price on Clover is 50. Sorry, I thought it was 58. That was that last bid there. Sorry, what I was talking about. 65 right now on Clover. We talked about it, trying to make a base there. We thought the base was at that 55. It looks like it was. So we took a 58 there. It bounced off 55 one more time. That could have been a hammer spot. I'm offering 69. Oh, yeah, it's got to go through first. We're offering 69s here. Take a little bit out on Clover if we can to ring. It's just a small 4-cent win, but we'll take, by a little bit, I'm talking about 20%. Not even 15% is right here sitting here now. We'll take a little bit out on Clover if we can. But this looks like that's going to be a good trade for us. Man, we're missing that 69 again. We're just going to hold out for it. Hopefully that comes through, guys.
And we'll now do this one. Finally, it's Gates of Hell action for SEV. This week, last week was Rivian week, and then we talked about it being EV week, and then it was Solar Day yesterday, solar panel EV vehicle, whatever this Scion, whatever you want to call it there. But I like the short today off of multiple levels. I just got it all out. I talked about what we were trying to capture for the majority of this, which was that 35 to 38 cluster from the afternoon show. If you guys were following along from 3 to 4 o'clock when we were watching this one break out a couple of times. And then the bottom end of the range here is what our pie in the sky, hold it to about 31, 32 is where I get it from. This is 32. The initial pop to the upside retraced at 32 even. You'll see my out exactly at 32 even. So it's just shy of a $10 winner for the last of this trade. But the reality is I did bungle this 46, 47, and I should have had a short off of 50. So as much as it's going to be a good one today, it could have been so much better. SEV gives it to you from 20 to 40. It gives it to you from 50 to 30, 2 days in a row. These IPOs are absolute gold. So we'll watch closely for this SG when it eventually opens up.
And there it is right now, man. We'll go backflip style on this one, PayPal. There's $1. We just took $1 on PayPal. So, the money is flowing in here today, guys. We took some 68s. Again, 5% at 68. Downsized this offer right now at 69. There it is. We just took a bid, finally got filled there at 69. So there's another win for us on Clover. Average price 65 on this one. Still, PayPal, there's the out right there for that smooth dollar. Now we have 1/3 left for hopefully VWAP upside. Brendan.
Woof, guys. Petco, big move down here. Another one that reported here 11.5% to the downside. They reported pre-market. That was 25, back to 21.5. Just had a huge buy side signal there, though, on WOOF. Let's get a quick check on how things over in Europe are shaping up. SV is watching what's going on over there. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are negative today, though Royal Mail trading in London is up more than 8% after announcing it will return £400 million to shareholders and raised its full-year earnings outlook. Back to you.
Yeah, a bit of a choppy start on the North American side as well. We're trying to get to positive territory.
So someone was asking in the chat there if I'm going long off that, because I mean SEV, if you look at it respecting those levels, would I be long at 32? And the reason I'm not is I think I told you guys I was 100% certain, well 99, no one's ever 100% certain. I was like 99.9% certain there would be halts on this thing if it flushed today. There has not been a downward halt, and I was looking for that kind of a wipeout bottom to go to the long side. And once that 38 level was gone, which we tried the long, it gave me a little bit of a win, and then I reloaded and then reversed into the short, and it is what it is. I was looking for a halt down. It has not happened yet, so I'd rather see it retest 32, confirm this is a bit of a level of support, and then try a long, because the first time I tried it without a capitulation, I ended up losing on the long trade and then had to make it back with the short. So I'm going to be very patient going long this name SEV. Ultimately, I think there could be some concern with liquidity if it breaks those levels to the downside. Lucid, it still looks like it's having some trouble following through. It got to 45.5. I actually pulled my bid because I had taken another leg out at 46. So then because I chose to get that out 50 cents higher, I wanted to hold through 45.5 and then wait for 45 even. The trend's still pretty strong to the downside here on Lucid. But at some point, this one could catch a bid, and I am looking a little bit cautiously as we get closer to lunchtime here, because that's when these stocks tend to find bottoms around lunchtime. And if you're in a short, you got to take that profit. If you're in the long, you got to take profit. PayPal, as Sean mentioned, I think we're both off that 201 long. Some out in front of 202. I'll get some out in front of 203. Keep it simple is the name of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So, we hit PayPal pretty hard. So we're going to go long right now on Palantir here. So this is a good breaking spot for, there it is. So I was going to say 163 comes through. We'll take it. That was that break there. We probably should have waited for 65, but we have a bottom at 2150. So now that this has made a bottom, we'll put on a decent position here as today's day just keeps on getting bigger and better, hopefully, now for us off that PayPal call. Nvidia's been a monster for us today, obviously. Clover's fine at not doing anything. We hope it. I mean, now that it's crazy, like volume weighted average price here, view up is down to 572 right now. I doubled up Clover in my own account, in the pre-market as well. Actually, no, I didn't. My bid was at 560. I had to cancel that. We can't get filled here. 570. We'll see if it comes up to 572 for Clover. That's going to be a spot there. And then Palantir. I mean, it's going to break. Like, if the NASDAQ comes down, Palantir has been sick, man, for a while. Like I said, I wanted to sell some Roblox and whatever and get into Palantir down at these levels. So if it can hold lower, we'll do that. But right now, we're into Palantir. Like I said, decent position right now for this name. We'll see where it goes on the upside, but we have this now. As long as the NASDAQ can make a move back to the upside, I'm pretty sure we don't see even 55 again, let alone 50. But 50 is going to be the breaking spot on Palantir, unfortunately for us. Let's see if we can get some out, mid 70s here somewhere, just to take some profit on this name, and we'll go from there. But PayPal still $1 in the money. Palantir just 5 cents. So and Clover 5 cents, which is small. So I don't know, nothing to talk about there. There goes Nvidia back to 321. Brendan.
Worst day in over a year for Cisco today, guys. Just tried to bounce there at 51. Some volume came in. Still down 9%. It was more than 10 at one point. Rare to see something like Cisco down 10%.
Is it?
Is it? I mean, we looked at Intel. I mean, it is weird, but you look at some of these names that just continue to get beat down, like an Intel, like a Cisco. We talked about that. Right now, the move, I like Cisco. I think it probably needs to be bought on this valuation. So we will look at that as an older name. So let's just take it right now.
My problem with Cisco is Oracle has been, Oracle's old tech that made a transition, and absolutely is crushing it in the cloud space. So check. That's why I bought Oracle and like them. Intel is making a change into a high demand area, especially keeping manufacturing on the US side and then getting into the foundry game so they can battle TSM. That's a transition I can get behind. I just don't know what Cisco's doing to make me bet on it that it's going to make the turnaround. Like, I know what I'm looking for in Intel and why I think Global Foundries is going to move 50% since its IPO, and Intel is going to give you the safety and security when essentially it's the same play and they're making money and Global Foundries isn't. Then I'm going to believe in it. I just don't know. There's probably a catalyst to look into for Cisco because it could give you this opportunity on a valuation point as well, especially if inflation is going to be a thing. But I don't know what it is yet. I mean, I know what it was for Oracle and Intel. I just don't know what the story is on Cisco. How
long do you wait for Intel? Because I know you've been talking.
It's a 2 to 5 year plan.
Right. So right now
they're trying to get into. They're trying to make a transition, which is going to be a 2 to 5 year plan. Like, just there's no way around it, right? Like, it's just
Are you buying any dips? Like, I'm trying to get into Intel
No, I mean,
too, but
I'm
I know
on
you've
a
been talking about it since
next year is the next
Fine.
time I'd look to buy.
next year. Okay,
It's the same thing with Uber. Like I expect to be, and the same thing with Virgin Galactic. I expect to be adding quarterly. I don't even look at that on a day-to-day basis. PayPal just triggered out, by the way. I just got out in front of
big win
VWAP.
on PayPal right now. $1.50 in the money on
So no
PayPal.
longs again.
Yeah, let's go, man. Big time long on PayPal right now. We still have this one. Unfortunately, this, we've taken some decent shares down here. First out 50 cents, next out $1. Now we're $2 in the money on PayPal. As our day, man. We are actually we're pennies away from hitting our daily goal again. So whenever that happens,
money,
we spin that. And I mean, all thanks again. We just took out. I told you, like we put a decent position on Palantir, right? Like I don't have a problem telling you when we like some of these trades and when we're putting on shares, we don't share our nets with you, but as you know, there's a call, and whenever you're doing these type of things, you're doing pretty good. So we'll get to the upside now on this. I still think VWAP 2190. I mean, I'd love for this market to keep going. Like I said, then Palantir will lead the way. I love Palantir. Why? Because A, I have a hat from Prad. Shout out to Prad. B, my average. I've been talking about this thing since $9, $10, $11. Word is life on that. And then we like the name. It's a $21 name. I feel like this, I mean, we've got to check out on Snowflake as well, but I feel like this name can go, and we'll wait on this. And then there we go. This is why you take big shares sometimes. And here's Clover, man, back to 71 again on Clover. So you might say, well, hey, look, this is only an 8-cent winner, right? But yeah, so be it. We talked about this before. We hammered PaySafe at low levels. We hit Clover at low levels as well. So let's just get another piece out here on Clover as we're up to 71, and this day just explodes higher for us.
So I'm looking at two things. One, Lucid, if it can put in a lower high at 47, that's the only place I want to add to it. Is LGVN. I should be scalping this. Someone just said it's a day trader's dream scalping. And I'm sitting here with the whole notion of short off that daily level at 770, see if I can't get a price in that like high 30s to 40 range that I like, and then allow it to flush down back at minimum until that halt price, hold a third for down to $6, and then maybe even VWAP as well, when instead it is just going back and forth giving you 30 to 40 cents. So a good look, that's why it's the best community. Like a lot of times you put an idea on for a stock and then you have your parameters set, and then you move on to the next trade when it has just been a gift horse. 90 million volume, and look at this between 690 and 730. So I guess if you had like a 750 stop, I mean, you could be shorting 25 to 30s and then making 25, 30 cents over and over again. If I can get more shares in that 25 range, I'm going to start sort of going with that kind of a game with the overall plan still in effect to that 775 level.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get some out here again. Palantir we just took a 69. I tried to get a 71 there. I don't know what's happening there. Just crashed down instantly there on PLTR. So that's not good. Good thing we did. We took, as soon as it crashed, we just talked about it. We just took a 74 print there as it came all the way back down, and we were just touting, like when you have shares, you got to take some profits. So we did that. Now Palantir right back to flat. This could wind up, we were just saying, well, what a good trade this was, and we're almost near our daily goal. We shouldn't have said that. We jinxed it. Now we're going back to the downside here on PLTR. I don't know what this is about there. It's not even on that much volume. This is getting pushed down right now. So let's average into this one here. But I don't know. Palantir on a nice move down. Not sure why. Whenever that happens, we'll take a little bit more. We're long at 64 here. We're going to give this one to 50. Remember, my order's already in, so we can average into this. But we'll go over to Brendan, and then hopefully when we come back, Palantir's mooned somehow.
Quick look at the S&P 500, guys. We'll talk a little bit about some negativity here, but 0.1%. That's it. It's not a huge move. This board looks very, very negative, but it's really not. A few things helping here. NVIDIA, one of those 8.5%. AMD right behind it. Micron's here being dragged along with it. So 1.2% for Micron, 1.8% for AMD. That's Deere. They finalized that agreement with their workers union. So DE 2.6% to the upside. IR having a nice day in the industrials group as well. Flip over to this side and show you retailers. Retail earnings week. So retailers showing strength. Gap is leading today, 4.8%, 1.8% there for Home Depot, BBY, Amazon, Lowe's, eBay. Also in positive territory. That's about it. Communication services are weak. Consumer staples are weak. Energy again today. 2 days in a row to the downside for oil. So all of the energy names over here under pressure. But as we said, not a huge move. Only about 0.1% for the overall market, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, of course, the second I get involved in that game, it's like that LGVN, which you can see me actually get flat on it there because I got a little bit more aggressive, got the win down to 7 to 6 even, and then got back in at a terrible price at 720. Hated that fact, so I cover at 740 on that breakout, and then I'm looking for it to retest that 770, 775 level before getting into short. So instead of holding a bad price, in the Philippine. Instead of holding a bad price at 720, I look to exit it shallow and then get back in, just able to get 45s there, and I'll probably add in front of 60s as well if I can, and then go back to the same plan that we had before, which is giving it to 770, which is a high, then 776, I guess, 775, just to round it up a little bit, and then go back to the plan, sort of holding on to it. So it was a good scalp trade, but the problem is you go in the end, and shout out to anybody that was doing that. If you were doing this from the beginning when I started shorting this, it was like fantastic, because it did so many times you're capturing 30 or 40 cents. I do it at the tail end, which is usually a bit of a no-no for scalp trading, because that's more likely. The better it looks, the more eyeballs on it, and the more likely it is to break if too many people try that scalp trade. It's exactly what happened to me there. Late to the party and not well dressed. 770 could go. I'm giving it to 75. I think it also gives you a reverse to the long side. There we go. Yeah, as I'm saying, it broke that 775. I reversed to the long side, got 79s in on LGVN, so I'll take some out in front of 8 because 8 is a round number, and that's about it.
Okay, when we're ready, Ms. V, we're going to do a like count, but I don't even see her at her desk, so we'll do this after. Right here, likes, 1.3K? I don't know, seems a little light. 6,000 people watching today, 10:42. We're almost off the air, so that's where Ms. V is. I didn't even realize the time.
What time is it?
Wow, 10:42. I did not realize how late it was, so my apologies to Ms. V getting ready for her show with Trader Prad. Memes and Movers coming at 11 o'clock. There's a hell of a lot to talk about here today, as PayPal's still $1.20 in the money. And then unfortunately, man, we were like touting this Clover on the way back up, and we didn't get out. We didn't get out of everything. We were hoping for it to get to VWAP here. I was thinking 75, 80s, even higher. For some reason, it dumped down, very, very similar to Palantir, dumping down, but we did get out of a decent position on Palantir, not enough, obviously, to reload. So we're going to have to wait to see if that continues to work, hopefully to the upside, as we're near the high of the day for ourselves here because, I mean, it was high. Like I said, we were higher up there, but PayPal's still working for us. NVIDIA's been an absolute monster for me today, only one time. We should have reloaded at 316. That's a bad job by me. We talked about why we didn't do it, but still, a missed opportunity there. Should have done it. Doesn't matter what we do. We just should have done that. And then that is that. So get ready for Trader Pratt and Ms. V coming through. SoFi down today. And I mean, look, if you don't raise capital, this is what I'm talking about over and over again. Like, if you don't raise capital on days when your stocks are up, then honestly, you're kind of playing with fire, because these days are going to happen where a lot of these high flyers, like, it's so easy to like celebrate wins, right? We do it in the crypto space all of the time. Like, I actually just now went in and bought more Ethereum at 4,100. So I just went in, bought some more Ethereum right now, literally, bought some more, and we'll see where we go on this. But I think, 4,000 is a good take. It was just at 5. Look, I mean, we could go down to 3, I buy more, but you got to buy things on negative days, especially when things start to crack, just like you got to get out on positive days when things are moving, upside. So that's just hopefully a little bit of a lesson there for a lot of people. Cash out on some of your winners. I mean, a good example is SEV today. If you held that overnight, I don't know what it's at right now, but if you held that overnight, you did have an opportunity to get out on open, like what, 47, 48. I mean,
the other thing we talk about too is like
154.
At least SEV gave you 47, 48. If you can't trade in the pre-market, let's just say you have an account that doesn't allow you to trade until the open, then holding something like an SEV for a swing is super, super risky, because you run the risk of everyone else profiting on the gap up in the pre-market, and then it never gives you that look. I typed in the chat quickly because I didn't want to interrupt, but that LGVN, that 775 breakout, took some out in front of 8, and then when it took out 8, it was a failed break like no other. Of course, thankfully I had offer out to try to cover some in front of 825 as usual, because it got to 25 and then just flushed right back below 8. I got back short at 799. I'm now giving it back to that 825. When I see a failed break that I'm a part of like this, when it's already halted up once, up 170%, I'm looking for the short instead. So I have reversed back into that short trade. And once again, I have 5 shorts and no longs because we got out of PayPal. We tried that one. And by the way, if you're following that Lucid, it did not stop out. thankfully, I guess, but then comes all the way back, if you zoom out there, all the way back to that 45.5 low. If it breaks this, I'm looking to cover it at 45 even, so it looks like the recovery in Lucid was a little bit short-lived.
Let's go stocks. Look at that bid right there on Palantir, man. We just got a 57 bid on Palantir. We told you we were going to buy these dips into that area using a 50 break there, and then we just got them out 62, 63. We're still holding a core position here on that, so that's good. I don't know, it could still fail out. If the NASDAQ fails, like I said, this is failing, so we'll take the profit here when it's there on Palantir for now. Clover, again, started to bounce back up, so we got down to 62, bounces to 67, bounces to 68. Got a couple pieces out there as well on Clover, but we're still holding, man. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day here. Come on, Clover, let's go. My next offer I actually have a 69. I'm going to cancel my 71. We'll take a 69 offer if we can get that on Clover. Hopefully that comes through very, very soon. PayPal still $1 in the money. Palantir dancing around. That's a risky spot for me. Palantir for sure. Roblox, man, like damn. I wish we could sell something on the show because that was a great, great bump for Roblox today up to 140. Like unbelievable move. You want to talk about being parabolic, like this Roblox just took off, man, to the upside. Great trade there, but you know, this name, man, on a week tape, this will fall like real fast. So watch out for Roblox right now. Palantir starting to get going again. Let's go for that on the upside. So Neil's got some shorts, I've got some longs, and we'll just see where we go from there. But for without any further ado, we do have Miss V talking, hopefully likes. She's got that pink hair, kind of fading a little bit right now, Miss V. But thanks for doing that. That meant a lot. That did get our like count up. We had our best day on Friday, Miss V.
Hey guys, thank you very much for 1,500 likes, but we can do better. So please, we have still more than 6,000 viewers. We really need your support. Again, likes are free, super quick, and if you're watching through the chat, please close it just for a second, smash the like, and come back. Back to you guys.
Yes, sir. And everyone in the chat was like, Neil, no gift horses. Take this short out at 7. Grab the buck. Of course, I'm already sitting on the bid. You guys have watched the show long enough to know that I am definitely on a move like this. When you play that rollover, I am covering in all of the areas that I liked before. The reversal long was 775. First out's in front of that. The initial short at that 650 level that we're playing off, or 750 level, that's the next level out. And then this bottom, which our best scalp trades were out at 7 even, that's the next level out. Now it has to either halt down, break this 675 support level, or retest 750. Those are the 3 conditions to go short. I'm not even thinking about a long in LGVN, so that's the plan of action. I'm still in a few things. I'm going to go over them because not to ignore, but Alibaba, I'm holding that 144, I mean, it's like 144.66 off an 80 break. I'm holding this at least back to 145.25, so give it about 75 cents to see if it can't test about 142 to the downside. RAS, who cares? Wish I'll be in probably all day long to the short side. And then Lucid is the other one that we're going to stick with here. And just in case it can actually break this 45.5, I'm in front of 45 even to see where it does go. Like I said, we were looking at Tesla earlier, didn't really find too much of a trade there. Still up on the session, but I mean, Tesla's kind of, $30 range seems impressive, but for Tesla, it's kind of not moving. And I wanted to look at this today, but didn't really see any obvious trades. And in that case, you kind of just want to sit it out. Do not force the action. I'm still looking over at SEV. It has now made a double bottom. I'd be in the long if it hadn't broken this several times at 32 and is still threatening to go lower. So if it now bounces down to 30 and goes back, then I'd look at a 32 long, but I'm not even at the point yet of considering the long in SEV yet.
Now, remember when we were chilling out at like 9:35 and we had our feet up and everything? I mean, we've doubled our net since then on some of these calls. And I mean, here we go with Palantir. This is why you got to stay with the stocks that you know, and thank you to you guys for bringing that out. Look, I'm not happy that we're down a little bit of money there, but as far as a day trade, we like that name to go long. Nucor up today as well. Amazon up nicely today, 2.5%. That's been a big position. Obviously, we hold a lot of the big cap tech, man. Microsoft 340, Apple back to 154. Bless you one more time on that one. Yeah, me and my kids have been so blessed. Like, we don't have allergies at all.
I'm getting crushed crushed the last week. But.
Yeah, no, it's been it's good. Alibaba down to 143. We talked about getting out of everything on that one. That's too low now. I'm not going to do that. Should have got out in the pre-market on that. Roblox back to 130. That could be a good trade there. I don't know what Oh yeah, we've talked about ALPP obviously before in the past. That apparently is now moving. 320, 321. Look, I haven't traded any like meme kind of stocks here today other than Clover, I guess. And I mean, a little bit of Rivian as well. Rivian's not been successful for it. Like if I don't trade Rivian today, I'm well over the daily goal. We're close to that now as we talked about it. But right now, ALPP, nice move to the upside. The daily, ugly on that. I don't know if that's even right, but the daily makes a big move down to 260. And now we'll see really no levels here on ALPP. From what I can see, we can zoom a little bit here to see, I don't know, 340, 350. Yeah, not too familiar with what this move is. We are familiar with PLTR, as this is now 12 cents in the money. Over on the big screen with Mr. Wickens.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's have a quick look at what's happening in the world of money. The euro to the downside once again today. It's actually off the lows, but still 113.5. I just realized that's the euro versus the pound, not the dollar, but you get the picture anyways. It is lower. The US dollar or DXY, I should say, 95.6 back to the upside as well. It was down about 0.5% early on this morning. Everything else relatively unchanged on this board. Turkish lira, big bounce today, 3.5%. New Zealand's higher as well. Cryptos to the downside, 58,470 and change there. 2.75% for Bitcoin, Ethereum following suit, 4% now to the downside. Weakness continuing in crypto markets, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, and ultimately probably a bit of a buying opportunity. I do think of I don't know. I just recently bought the dip the first time we tested that 58. So I'm kind of waiting for that next level down, another, I guess, probably 7 to 10%. I did get back into this LGVN. This is a little bit riskier of a level because it broke that 75. I didn't get anything until it got down to 59 and then 52. So 55 is my average price, risking 20 cents. And then you have the halt price, which is 20 cents away. So that's 1-to-1. I'm not covering unless it breaks the halt level. Because to me that risk reward doesn't really work. I think it flushes into 6 and then VWAP if it does break this halt price. Not much to work off of other than that 638. So if it takes out 75, I'll get out and look for another trade there. With only 7 minutes to go, it's a weird one, man. Like I kind of feel like that, like this one's gone pretty fast here, Sean. Fourth, but we get Trader Pratt and Ms. V coming through. I know they had some good trades there. I'm interested to see what Ms. V did with her trading, because I know Prad was trading that NVIDIA, which was such a monster move there. And thank you guys for all the support that we got, and thank you for bringing Upstart to my attention there. I know Kyle just said the Upstart made a fresh low there. I'm telling you, that stock, it doesn't, like if you go to that daily on Upstart, like you get through this, which it's trying to churn through right now, and there's some chop, but really you're the previous high and then eventually chop breakout 190 into like this area here at 228. You kind of feel like it's going to grind through some of those. The 200 period as well, sitting down at 175. Those are all great levels to catch a falling sword on Upstart. So it's gotten really interesting. It's now in that range where I'm looking to pick this one up in the long term. It's not there yet. It just entered that range today. So let's be patient because it could really fall through 225 here.
So just to look here on Sweet Green, not open yet. I don't know if Brandon, before we go to Memes and Movers, maybe we could find out if we see an ETA on SG there, as that is a new IPO similar to a Chipotle. There. Okay, Coinbase here on the on the daily was actually not very nice today here with a big move to the downside, 4.5%. You can see obviously what's happened with BTC. Good call by that one, Brendan. Down to 58 and change. Like I said, I did buy a little bit more. Not much more, $2,000 more of Ethereum right now at these levels. So we'll see what that can do. Just trying to nibble. We'll see if it goes back down on that. Someone asking about like what our daily goals are. I mean, so you don't even have to trade with the daily goal, but we all have much different nets and expectations. And again, I just say that to let you guys know. But again, my goal different than Neil's, different than Brendan's, and you don't even have to have a daily goal if you don't want to. I mean, I have a personal goal of being positive every day because I mean, obviously that sometimes doesn't happen, but when I'm on streaks, I like to try to keep them going. And that can lead you to be a little more conservative. So So sometimes it's not a good thing. You do got to try to take some home runs like we did on SEV the other day. We took $8 on that IPO reopen. We took $8 again on NVIDIA today. We're taking trades. And then now that I'm up, I've very close to hit that one daily goal. Now I try to let things roll a little bit, right? So we're trying to let this PayPal roll. We were $1.50 in the money. It's come back down a little bit for us on that. Obviously, it's from 203 back down to 202. We probably should have reloaded there. I didn't even notice that. So, you know, letting this come down. If it gets to 201.50 again, we'll reload. But now we try to hold for that little bit of a home run now. So Palantir, we've reloaded. Clover's not really doing too much. And actually, the crypto is still going down as Ethereum still making a move to the downside. And there is Bitcoin looking, ooh, it did flush. I missed that one as well. It did flush just a minute ago down to 57.5 or 57.6. What am I looking at here? Kraken or Coinbase? This is the Coinbase Pro. So down to 57.6 here. And then right now looking like it needs another bottom right here. Quickly. Yeah, we're going to go to Neil, then to Brendan.
Quickly, because SG, I've never really seen this before, this late in the session, getting to 11 o'clock. It is a 1.5 million share balance with only 200,000 paired. Usually by this time of day, it would have flipped around a little bit, like the paired volume would be higher than the buy imbalance. It is still significantly imbalanced to the buy side. That is rather unique. By this time, Rivian was even a tiny buy imbalance. It was a tiny buy imbalance, in fact, sometimes even a sell, and the paired volume was huge. So a bit of a strange story here with SG and that IPO, Brendan.
Yeah, it's interesting on that. It's still indicating 28, which is kind of strange. I'd think it would be higher than that at this point. But anyways, we'll keep watching Sweet Green, SG. Here's what's coming up for earnings, guys, tonight and tomorrow morning.
We're just talking about that tab there. Well, I mean, Foot Locker, obviously, shout out to Foot Locker. I just picked up some more Air Force Ones from them, so that's been a good one there. Forget about all the Chinese names. I'm not even looking. Williams-Sonoma, I think, is a great retailer, man. They execute all the time. A great name. WSM, I believe, is the ticker. I think that's a name to look at for tomorrow. If you like Macy's, man, you should like WSM tomorrow.
Although Macy's has the short, that's the thing. Like the Macy's gets that extra bump because they're heavily shorted, which is crazy because it means that they're, on some level, people don't think they're executing as well. And that's why they're heavily shorted. But at the same time, they then perform better price-wise when they beat. It's a weird thing that happens with them. I'd be careful with Palo Alto because we saw what happened earlier to CrowdStrike, down like 10%. I haven't checked to see where they are on, I guess, declining growth as well. So that entire sector, Palo Alto is the leader, right? So if they get a bad print, that's going to be really bad for CrowdStrike as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Adam. Great show, multitasking. Yeah, you're telling me, man. I'm sending messages to everybody back and forth. Yeah, no, it's been a good show for us, and I hope you've enjoyed it with only 2 minutes to go. Here's Williams-Sonoma here on the daily chart. Like I said, these guys are just execution excellence, man, like Brett Dittman art, the execution, excellence of execution. If you get anything down here, it's not going to happen. I'm just saying, like, these barcodes, things like that, what a great dip buy that would have been, or any kind of buy on Williams-Sonoma. Love this, higher end stuff. I mean, hopefully I don't need to tell you guys about this name, but Williams-Sonoma continues to work, and I expect a very similar fate. I guess it's Miss V for what day it is. What's up, Miss V?
Hey team, I hope your morning is going great so far and you're all in a profitable territory. Thank you very much for 2,000 likes. Your support means a lot to us, and thank you for all the super chats and kind words on the chat. Welcome all the new members and new subscribers. Well, me and Prat are waiting for you to join Memes and Movers to continue trading. And today we celebrate Mickey Mouse's birthday.
Is it really today? That's cool.
Mickey Mouse's birthday.
My daughter's going to love that.
How old is Miss V?
I'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to find that out. Century old.
Close to 100. It's got to be. Because
I think a little. I think greater than.
The tugboat one was like, that's super old.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We were watching.
Oh, that's it. 65.
We were just watching a goofy. You know what?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know. His birth, like 65. Nah. I think he's. I think he's a little bit older than 65. But we'll wait to see how old he is exactly. But again, like you mentioned,
it doesn't really matter.
It was black and white. I mean, I remember the whistling and everything on that one. So maybe she's probably right. He doesn't age though. You guys are right. He's like Bart Simpson there, or the whole Simpson family. Like, How long is Maggie going to have that damn soother in her mouth? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's
They
a
get away with it
cartoon.
forever.
So, okay, 93. There we go. Valeria double checking there. 93. That makes more sense as we
Yeah.
first said century there. So happy 93rd birthday, Mickey Mouse. I hope I can live that long as well, which there's no way in hell. I hope I can, but I don't know. Okay, it's 11 o'clock now. A good show, man. I mean, I have 100 executions. We are near the high of the day for us. Fortunately, Palantir's falling down a little bit right now. Watch out for the market here as we throw over to memes and movers, right?
Absolutely, guys. And I'm going to, because it's Mickey Mouse Day, you guys, if you don't have a kid or don't watch Mickey Mouse Club, you'll have no clue. But Muska, Mickey Mouse, you guys are off to memes and movers. Should be a fantastic one. Go get them, Trader Pratt and Miss V.
Welcome back to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Pratt. This is the beautiful Miss V to my right.
Hey guys, welcome back everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and as usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything, and don't forget to like this video. How's your day going, Prad?
Absolutely killer, Miss V. How about yourself today?
Let's go. Negative day for me. Tesla